Hello, everyone. So tomorrow, it's gonna be Sunday, another day of quarantine, and we're here with a lot of people to talk about one of the best bands in rock music ever. This is Music Buddies. We're gonna talk about Weezer's entire discography. Surprisingly, I'm your host, the idiot who likes Prog. We have quite a set list of guests just to shit on some records. Well, not shit on, but yeah. We have Gary here.
Yo.
We have Soup,
Hello.
the wonderful Gabe, who's gonna be only here until Pinkerton because he doesn't want to listen to, and he doesn't have to because it's really not recommended to Weezer's discography after Pinkerton. We have Sweat, who is here regarding the fact that he didn't want to be here in the first place.
Yeah, not good on a permanent record, but
And
you gotta do
Phallus,
what you gotta do.
who's gonna be here for an entire set, surprisingly.
I heard the entirety of the
So
Weezer discography in 24 hours, so I'm ready for this.
Okay, so
That sounds like torture.
It was not that pleasant. I gotta say.
it was not good.
It's good
Okay,
for the first 2 hours.
So Weezer is a band that formed on 1992 on Los Angeles, United States. And it started with Rivers Cuomo, who I think is the member of the band who everyone knows. Basically,
He's the main songwriter.
he's the main songwriter.
Yeah.
He has a bunch of side projects that no one gives a shit about, but still, they debuted on 1994 before releasing their official album with an EP that introduced the first 4 songs of their debut album. And then on May 10th, I think May of 1994, they released what would become one of the most iconic albums of our generation. I think the Blue Album, their debut. Which I think it's a great and enjoyable, highly enjoyable album. It actually, I had a bad reception. If you listen to previous, especially a Radiohead podcast, I shit on the entire Weezer discography, but then revisiting it recently, I just found an appreciation for the Blue Album because, despite having some flaws, mainly up to the end. It does present itself as a really solid, fan entertaining, cheesy and geeky album that can be, I hate using this word, but relatable to a lot of people. It has some great songs, including My Name is Jonas, and my personal favorite Weezer song, Only in Dreams, which is actually an 80-minute song that I think they handled really well, surprisingly well. On the length of 41 minutes, the band proved at that time that they could make some good fucking ass music. It's varied. It has a lot of changes in overall mood of the tracks, going from songs like Undone to songs like Say It Ain't So. So yeah, I think it's a good debut that could be improved. I mean, I don't like Say It Ain't So and In the Garage as much as other tracks. I find some of the lyrics being really, really corny, really cheesy. Something that I just listen to and doesn't bother me that much as later albums would do lyrically. But the instrumentation and the lyrics certainly merge to a perfect degree in the fact that it's nothing more than an enjoyable debut. And people really connected with it, and you can see that even after this point, there's an obsession for their first 2 albums. So we're gonna go in order. I personally think this is their best record. This is one of the few instances where a band has their best album, their most concise project at their debut, and they're trying to achieve that with their following albums, or at least in some way. Or paying tribute to it because they know deep inside that the best they could do was what they were virgins that didn't really have a perception on life. So we're gonna go in order. So Gary, what do you think of the Blue Album?
So I love the Blue Album too, probably even more than you do, Cringe, and I even think it's still the second best out of there. I'm just gonna confess off the top here that I love Weezer. Like I know that they're shit on a lot, and there's good reason for that because like maybe a majority of their albums I'd say are not good, but I think when they are good, when they are rarely good, they're one of my favorite bands. I think Rivers Cuomo is an amazing pop songwriter, and I think that the Blue Album is maybe the best example of that. It's such a definitive sounding power pop album. It was released power pop album. It was produced by Rick Ocasek from the Cars, and it has a really shiny kind of pristine, very very well produced pop. I'm just gonna keep saying power pop because that's kind of what I define the genre as, alternative rock, power pop, whatever you want to call it. And that it was these big crunchy guitars with these big choruses that had these great hooks, great melodies on every song, and it was a very definitive sound, and it's a very endearing record. Like the songwriting is very endearing. It's very geared towards like nerdy middle class white kids. So like I mean I think a lot of us on this podcast. It's I don't really know what else to say about it. I mean I like most of the songs on it. I think that the two big ones are Buddy Holly and Say It Ain't So they're kind of the most catchy that I come back to the most. Yeah, I actually think it's a masterpiece.
I think it's a really enjoyable album in the way that there are no bad songs necessarily. They are all enjoyable and catchy, as you said. So yeah, I think that's a big strength that the band had at the time. Soup, what do you think of the Blue Album?
Okay. So yeah, this is. I agree with Cringe in that this is their peak. At their debut. And in my little ranking here, for number one, I just wrote, "What the fuck do you expect to be here?" So, yeah. So hang on, let me bring up the track listing right here. Definitely their most like consistent, greatest they've ever sounded. Track ratings. I think the only track I really like, I'm not like really strongly on is, I know it's kind of unpopular, like an unpopular pick, but Buddy Holly is I just don't really go that much. It's just it's okay. It's just not one I'm in love with. But that's really like in a track 3, The World Has Turned and Left Me Here. Again, not bad. It's just kind of okay. It just the other tracks overshadow it for me. That's really the only like low point on the album, if you could even call it that. The second half you have just on this first half. Again, My Name Is Jonas, an essential track. Undone, which is one of their best, easily. And then in the second half, you have like Say It Ain't So, great. In the Garage, great. Surf Wax America, not really as strong on. But Holiday, this is my favorite song from the band. It's just so energetic, so life affirming in the ways that power pop should be. And then Only in Dreams, just fantastic closer. Just a really great, well done power pop album. And for being probably the most influential and essential in the genre, I think it deserves its spot. That's all I gotta say.
I mean, Weezer is still relevant now, and mostly because people look back on the insane coverage that the first 2 albums get. Like, you cannot go 1 month before a video analyzing why Weezer is great for the Blue Album, and it's just fucking insane. But yeah, I agree with what you said. I actually think that the final stretch of Holiday and Only in Dreams goes really well together. I really do think that this has some of their most essential tracks. In fact, most of my favorite tracks by the band come from here. So yeah. Gabe, what do you think of the Blue Album?
Okay, so the Blue Album, I think it's fantastic. This was the first Weezer album that I ever listened to, long while ago. And I recently came around on. I shouldn't say recently, but in the last year or so, I came around on it finally, and I realized this is just a really stellar power pop album. Like like everyone's kind of been saying before. You're going to realize that I don't really have a lot of unique takes about Weezer because I'm not that passionate about them, but I think that their first two albums are respectable. So let me just kind of go off on what I got to say about Blue Album from off the top of my head. My favorite song on here is without a doubt My Name is Jonas. I know it's the intro. I know it's the first track, but I just think that's probably the best way they could have opened the album. It really sets you in, like throws you right into it perfectly. Absolutely necessary intro. I couldn't see any other song being the intro. And I would also like to say that No One Else and The World Has Turned and Left Me Here also make up a fantastic part of the first half of the album. If I had to pick a second favorite track, it would actually be The World Has Turned and Left Me Here. Great song. If I really had to pick a least favorite, I guess my least favorite track on here would actually be Holiday. That song's always just kind of got on my nerves. And I would also like to say that, like Cringe said, Only in Dreams is fantastic. And similar to how My Name is Jonas is a perfect opener, Only in Dreams is a perfect closer.
It's like I like that contrast between how My Name is Jonas starts so like bombastic and energetic, and then Only in Dreams is a sweet closer that takes its time, like 8
Exactly.
minutes long. Yeah, I think it's
like
a,
calm down.
yeah, exactly. It's like a cooling down. So Sweat, what do you think of the Blue Album?
This album's pretty good. I like a lot of songs from this album. Most of the songs ended up being singles from this album. I have for this album to connect with me more, I probably would have had to heard it when I was younger, and I did hear it when I was younger, but that was only like the singles. So I obviously love a lot of tracks. My Name is Jonas, Buddy Holly, Say It Ain't So. Those songs are incredible. The hooks on them are just like pop perfection. A lot of the other tracks don't really hit with me as much, but I wanted to highlight Only in Dreams, which is the best song they would make.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing like a lot of their material because it's just such a patient track and the build-up is amazing. It's really like a fantastic way to close out such an album.
I actually think that Only in Dreams it would be their peak in songwriting and instrumental. As you say, it's a track that takes its time. 8 minutes long, surprisingly handled really damn well.
Especially, takes its time like for an album of pop songs.
Yeah, of power pop overall. But yeah.
It's got such a great bass riff that just repeats through the whole and it kind of gets noisier and quieter, noisier and quieter.
Yeah.
Like the Pixies. They did.
Ooh. Loud, quiet, loud.
The Pixies inspired Weezer.
Okay, so Phallus, what do you think of the Blue Album?
Weezer, very early on with the Blue Album, just cemented very, very clearly that their style was going to be based in sounding like a suburban white 14-year-old. Like that's how I imagine the music. That's how it sounds to me, and it's not bad. It's great. It really is a great album, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And it builds upon themes that will be further explored in Pinkerton, and a little bit more poignantly and more angrily and more virginly. But the point is, it's a great debut. I really do think that Weezer just hit the nail on the head with this one. It's not as short as some of their later releases, but I think that's good. Because they tended to, with like the Green album, then the White album, etc., just start going shorter. I like that they decided to get a more regularly sized LP, especially with the Only in Dreams being 8 minutes and whatnot. It has some really strong songs that I like. Say It and So, obviously, My Name is Jonas. I agree with Soup that Buddy Holly is not that great. I don't get the hype for it. I mean, it's a good track, but it's among the weaker ones in the album, in my humble opinion. But yeah, I'm not as passionate about this album as I am about others, which I have like stronger takes. But I really do think it's a great album. It's Weezer by Weezer.
It's Weezer, exactly. So, before going on, does anyone else have anything else to say? No, okay. So their next album would be the one that would be in the mouths. That is still in the mouths of many. people, considering it their best release for a bunch of reasons, for a lot of good reasons. So 2 years after their debut, they released Pinkerton in 1996. Um, and Pinkerton, I apologize to Gary for saying that it was a shit album for the discussion we had on the Radiohead podcast. Uh, it's actually a really good album. It is a really good. It doesn't have as much highs as the Blue album, in my humble opinion. I think it gets progressively weaker with how it go with the with the length. Um, but I do think it has some of their best songs. Tired of Sex, Why Bother are fucking incredible tracks. I love both of them. It has I think it's a good a good reflection of what the Blue album was. Basically, it's the Blue album instead of being something relatable by taking the part of a 14-year-old as Phallus, because it's true. When you listen to it, you hear to the thoughts and the life of someone, of a geeky nerd that's in high school, to then just hearing the thoughts, some perverted, some geeky, some really strong takes by the own for the 14-year-old. The songs are nice. There are some great highlights here. Honestly, this has some of their most energetic songs ever. Uh, I do like Tired of Sex better as an opener, more than My Name is Jonas, and the songs here flow better than on the Blue album. It's truly a coming of age project, but Blue just had some better peaks, to put it that way. There are desperations. I mean, the Blue album felt anxious, but this album just feels desperate, lyrically and instrumentally, and it makes everything work really well. I don't have much to say here, except that Cuomo really needed a girlfriend at this point. I mean, there's a song where he writes to a fan that writes him back, and a song about his fetish with Japanese girls. Um, so it's kind of it has kind of a weird approach.
Controversial.
I think this would be one of the most. I don't hear many people agreeing with me on this one. I think that Butterfly is the weakest song on the album. I don't think it works
Oh,
that
great.
that
Yeah,
well.
you are tripping balls. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think
No, I agree.
I don't think it works well as a closer. But I do think it's still good. It's not necessarily bad. None of the songs here are bad. As I said, like the stretch of White Butter, Across the Sea, and The Good Life is amazing. El Escorcho has something good too, and all the songs here have something to offer, in the same way that all the songs on the Blue album have something to offer, just in a much more. I think this is their most aggressive album. Their most energetic one, their most raw in spirit. But yeah, I don't think it's great.
So,
I don't think it's great.
I have a quick question for you.
Okay.
Actually. So you said you don't think Butterfly works that well as a close. Are you familiar with their song "Long Time Sunshine," which is from these sessions?
Nope, I'm not actually.
You're not. Oh my god, that's you have to hear that song. It's one of their best. I personally always replace Butterfly with Long Time Sunshine.
I didn't even know there were Pinkerton sessions available for people to listen to.
Yeah, it's on.
Pretty sure it's on songs from the Black Hole.
It is on Songs for the Black Hole. You're right. It's the closer for Songs for the Black Hole.
I don't remember that. I only remember Act 1 from Songs from the Black Hole, because it has a bunch of tracks like I'm Tired of Having Sex and Super Friend that I actually like a lot. But yeah, I mean, I didn't even know that there were sessions from the Pinkerton. But yeah, I mean, Gary, what do you think of Pinkerton as an album?
Okay, let me get a drink of water. Because this is gonna be a bit of a thing.
And here's
You gotta
some.
go
So-
off.
It's this is the podcast where I get to quote Gabe. We're saying Pinkerton is one of my favorite of all time. I fucking love it. I can't help it. It's like I get that it's controversial and it's kind of creepy and almost perverted in that one song, and just it's controversial.
Two songs.
Two songs.
Yep.
I'll give you that.
All of the songs. I'm just
All of the songs. Yeah, it's
Well,
it's not aged the
Yeah.
best, I guess I'll say. But I don't know. I think that people kind of get too hung up as when thinking about music of taking songwriting as 100% of what the songwriter believes, which
Yeah.
I guess is sort of true for Pinkerton, but at the same time, like if you can watch a movie, say about a murderer or criminal, where you identify with some aspects of that character, but kind of realize that other aspects are shitty, you can do the same thing with an album like.
I mean, I would like to clarify. Sorry for interrupting. That I don't think the lyrics are perverted or creepy or a thing that everyone should be concerned
I
about.
think
yeah,
the
you
one
trust
track that's
yourself.
really questionable is a Butterfly, but other than that, you can really listen to it.
Yeah.
Mostly
I
guilt-free.
mean, I have a
She was 18.
I laugh a lot with some of the lyrics here.
it's very funny.
It's very
It
funny
can be pretty
because
cringy, yeah.
this is an album. Okay, so I forgot to mention this, but I personally think that, and I think many people do as well, that they would have connected more, and people that have connected more are people that are under teenage years, because this album is full of those teenage thoughts. I mean, I really seriously haven't met any geeky teenager that doesn't dream about Japanese girls or to be famous and have a relationship with one other fan. So I really just have a laugh here. I have a really fun time listening to lyrics. Butterfly, I do think it's kind of okay. You're crossing. I don't think if you're crossing that line or not. But yeah, I don't necessarily think it's bad. So go ahead, Gary. Continue what you're saying.
I mean, yeah, you kind of said the same thing I was going to say. I said this is a very specific album, kind of for nerdy teenage boys. Like, who hasn't like felt the shit out of El Scorcho? To be honest, like,
Yeah.
just having emotion, like, oh, this person in my life that I wish would notice me, and I think we'd be perfect together. And even maybe that is questionable. Maybe that is being kind of creepy and stalkerish, but it's something that people feel, and he's getting it out there. And the way Rivers Cuomo expresses that throughout the album. I mean, like, it's the album. I mean, it sounds different from the Blue album. The Blue album was really shiny and pristine pop production. Pinkerton's a lot noisier, louder. I think they didn't choose to have it produced. I think they produced it themselves. Correct me if I'm wrong. The band produced it by themselves, and it's a lot rougher around the edges in terms of sound. Just like from especially
the producer is Weezer itself. So yeah, I mean, you're right.
Yeah, they produced the album themselves,
Yeah.
and like especially on Tired of Sex. Oh god, the guitars are so loud. I fucking love it. It's so loud and distorted. I mean, in a different way than on Blue album. Yeah, it's kind of this album is Rivers Cuomo warts and all. Like, he was having a lot of problems at this time. I think he was just not he was not coping well with their fame after the Blue album came out, and he was lonely, and he felt like he needed a companion. And the fact that he puts that out in these songs in such an emotional way, and people can identify with parts of it, even if it is controversial, even if it is creepy at points, the fact that people can identify with that is just it's so well done in that, and being this emotional display of loneliness and desperation. Like, Cringe, you said it was the album's very desperate. I completely agree with that. It's very, a lot of it is coming down, comes across as Rivers or the protagonist.
I mean, what you said is actually makes me understand more the record. I mean, I have a theory that, and I said to Gabe, and I said it on my Make Believe review pretty jokingly, that after these guys got laid, or Rivers got laid, or they got a family or a stable life, their spirit was
music
just
started sucking.
yeah, because
Yeah.
you can certainly feel on Pinkerton that it's a call for action, and I have to say, I have seen live footage, like, especially their concerts in Japan from this time. This is the point where they are the most aggressive, the most personal, and the most at their best in terms of noise and relatability to the public. So yeah, I mean, I agree with what you were saying.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, maybe apart from Butterfly, every single song, Rivers sings loud, and it's very anthemic, and you can sing along to every song. Like especially for me, the stretch from I mean, yeah, Cringe, you said like from Why Bother to The Good Life. I think I just whenever that comes on, I kind of sing along to all those songs. I will say I kind of mentioned this earlier. Butterfly, I think it's a pretty song. I just don't love it as a closer. The song Long Time Sunshine, which ended up as the closer for Songs from the Black Hole, which by the way was the like space whatever sci-fi concept album that Rivers Cuomo was working on that he abandoned, and a bunch of songs from that ended up on Pinkerton. But yeah, that song Long Time Sunshine is really beautiful. It's this piano ballad about where Rivers just kind of talks about being desperate and wanting to leave his life behind and start anew, but not really knowing how to, which works very well thematically with Pinkerton, and I think works as a much better closer if you listen to the album all the way through than Butterfly. Yeah, I think Pinkerton's a 10 out of 10. It's in my top 10 favorite albums of all time. It's also like it's one of the albums that's been in my life for the longest. Like it's like an old friend to me. I have memories of listening to it with my friends and listening to it alone. Yeah.
Yeah, he has a big backstory behind it. I can confirm that.
That's nice. If Gary lets you listen to Pinkerton with him, you know he wants something serious.
Then you can have sex with.
Yeah. Damn. Okay, so
Which is ironic. Pinkerton is
Yeah,
the album
it's
that the least people have sex to.
I have this weird memory specifically of my friend and I think it was in 9th grade. We were working on science labs in the hallway outside the classroom after school, and we were listening to Pinkerton on one of our like iPods in the hallway outside of the classroom. It's a very specific memory of the album. That's kind of a meaningless anecdote. Or I'm gonna just go to the next.
I think it's nice. It like shows how like it was just Pinkerton is at heart like a kind of young record. Like it really resonates with people who are like anxious little virgin teenagers. So like I think that does help.
It's a very teenage album. You're right.
Yeah, it is as I was saying, it does have a lot of relatability with geeky teenagers, and I think that has been established pretty damn well. So yeah, Soup, what do you think of Pinkerton?
It feels really weird going after all that. Because, I do have some complaints on this, but I'll just go through the track listing. Again, opener, Tired of Sex, just really great, really solid. Can't wait. Yeah, Matt Sharp, Patrick Wilson are just on top of their game here in terms of just the sound of it, especially the production, just very punchy. And then It Looks Like Shit compared to Get You, which is one of my favorite tracks from a band. Just so in your face, so just angry. And next two tracks, No Other One and Why Bother. I kind of group these together, but it's just so beautiful, just really great power pop. Just band at their peak here with these two albums. Then it just kind of it's just Across the Sea. I don't like this one for obvious reasons. Good Life, less obvious reasons. It's just, and then these just ain't doing it for me. It's I don't know. I can't really talk about it. It's just, and El Scorcho, another one. I don't these like this 3 series of tracks. It just like
Yeah, they're pretty oddballs.
It does get back on track for me with Pink Triangle and Falling for You is really great. Butterfly, it's really beautiful on the first listen, but again on multiple like visit, like when I come back to this, it just doesn't feel right as a closer. It's a great song, but something just feels off about it being a closer.
I mean, I remember the first. I remember the first time I listened to Butterfly, and I heard the. I mean, it starts off pretty sweet, and then you get to the part where he says, "I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't mean to."
Yeah, like what the fuck?
I'm like,
No.
I think it's a metaphor, but I don't want to
Yeah.
say anything definitive on it.
Yeah, me too. I don't want to say anything, but it's kind of it's the only track on the album that I just question. Okay, what the fuck were you trying to say with this? That's the only track.
Yeah.
But basically
But,
that. Yeah.
yeah, just
Bruce Cuomo's
these
a
two tracks
sweaty,
are just-
sweaty man.
These tracks just rub me off the wrong way. Okay. Yeah, it's just these 3 tracks. The rest is really solid. Especially like I think the biggest issue for me is the lyrics. Yeah, El Scorcho is it's let me actually look at the lyrics. Yeah. It's a fucking
so
mess.
bad.
It's a fucking mess.
It's such
Oh, I love that
garbage.
song.
It's a really good song.
Yeah,
I think it has
sounds
the
good.
objective
It's
lyrics
just
on it.
The only good thing about El Scorcho is that it lets you know how weird it's gonna be from the very get go.
Yeah.
Goddamn
Yeah.
Japanese. Like you hear those words and you already know that the entire song is gonna be like virginity supreme.
Yeah, it's just such a mess of a song. And then like, The Good Life. All right, I can get behind this. I didn't want to hear Rivers talking about shaking booty. No. But yeah. All right, I'll shut up now about these 2 tracks. Rest of this album is really good. It is at number 3 in my ranking. We'll get to number 2 later. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I agree. This
Number
is
2 is not Ratitude, I will say.
Oh, that's a bummer. I actually agree. I agree that this is their second best album. Gabe, what do you have to say about this Pinkerton?
All right, so I'm gonna say something a little crazy.
Okay.
What?
It's not. So I should probably say off the bat that right now, out of the 2 Weezer albums I've heard, this and Blue album, this is my favorite. I have this. This is a masterpiece in my opinion. This is Weezer's masterpiece from what I've heard. But something kind of hit me a few weeks ago about this album while I was listening to another album, and I've got this weird thing in my head where sometimes I'll connect albums with each other even if they have no necessary relation. You know, if I find something in huh?
I know what he's talking about.
Yeah. So
I don't.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say this right now. Pinkerton reminds me of one of my favorite albums of all time. There's the thing. I did it. I made it again. I said it again.
Yeah, there's the thing.
Weed Forestin by Centrido.
Oh shit!
How the hell?
How the hell? Yeah.
This
What is this?
album, right? Because you got all the comparisons, right? About how you're like it's the Virgin album, okay? It's the Incel Virgin album.
There's quite a few of those. I don't really know.
I know there are, but I'm going off of ones that are important to me.
Okay.
You've got
My Incel Virgin album.
shut up. You've got these tracks. You got like I don't know. It's not. This is really loose. You got to bear with me. This is not. There's no like huge concept about this. I'm just saying. I guess maybe I could say that like the sort of concepts here, they kind of overlap at points, and maybe that's why I think this might be their best album. It's that it's very honest. Sometimes it's not. Okay, so here's the thing. The honesty or whatever you want to call it on this album, it's weird. Sometimes it's a little bad, like we were talking about Butterfly earlier. But I guess I can just appreciate the raw honesty. And I think that's where it connects to Weed Forestin for me so much, because you have songs in common on both of these more or less lyrical sections on Pinkerton than entire songs. But you have these songs where it's like, okay, maybe you didn't need to say that part, but that I guess that's kind of what I wanted to start off with, basically, just to say that I kind of hear this sort of really strange connection between these 2 albums, even if they're not related at all. That's just a personal thing for me that I wanted to mention. But yeah, on to the album itself. This is a fantastic album, and I think this is an improvement on the Blue album. My favorite Weezer song is on here. Damn it! I had the track list open and now I don't. This is what I get.
Party and party.
God damn it! Oh my god!
What is
There it is.
your
Okay.
favorite Weezer song?
My favorite track on here is actually Pink Triangle.
Yes.
That was been my favorite song since my first listen. I don't know the what can you call it? Can you call it the chorus?
I think so. Yeah.
The I'm dumb, she's lesbian part. I was like,
she's a lesbian.
I was like, yeah, that's kind of.
Did you
I don't
get
know.
Pink
I guess I
Triangle?
thought at first, like, when I wasn't really paying attention, I guess I thought it was kind of funny. So I'm like, yeah, I like that song. That's a good one. And then when I came back to it, I realized my favorite songs on here, combined with Pink Triangle, are actually Why Bother, Falling for You, and Butterfly. I have not heard Long Time Sunshine, so I won't comment on that, but I do think that Butterfly is a fantastic closer. My opinion is likely to change if I listen to Songs to the Black Hole soon, but based on how Gary's been hyping it up and stuff like that. So I'll keep my ears peeled for that. But yeah, basically I just want to say I don't have a very personal connection to Weezer. I've just kind of heard these two albums, and I think, yeah, they're good. They're amazing. But I don't know. I don't really have like a personal thing with Weezer, so it feels kind of weird for me, I guess. Usually when I cover a band on this podcast, I've got some kind of connection to them.
Yeah.
Talking about Weezer is a little hard because I don't really have that. It's more of a musical appreciation than it is a multifaceted appreciation.
Next week though. Next week. Oh shit.
Yes. But yeah, basically just to say, I think Pinkerton's a masterpiece. It's, from what I've heard so far from Weezer, it's their best album, and I would actually go to say that it's one of, I mean, no, because this is hard. The 90s is my favorite decade of music. I shouldn't say it's one of the best albums of the 90s when I know that there's at least 50 more that probably go above this for me. But it's incredibly solid, and I think it's a must listen for fans of alternative rock and power pop, of course.
Some people
of
call
course,
this emo.
Yeah, it's got a secondary
Yeah,
genre of
it's-
emo on RYM.
I think-
I don't really know
I think
why.
a lot of people say that emo.
It's RYM, like-
I'm no expert on emo history. I mean, I'm not about to emo explain any of you, but I've heard that like a lot of emo bands around the turn of the century, like around a couple of years after Pinkerton came out, kind of said that they were influenced by Pinkerton.
Yeah, I think the thing about that particular genre label, I wouldn't apply it to this album, but emo, as we know it, would not exist
Yeah.
if not for Weezer as a whole, pretty much, because they like piled down. They like, for the mainstream rock was a lot. There wasn't really a space for a lot of more nerdy, more out there kind of groups, and like with this, you could see, because of Weezer, you can have groups like Paramore and like My Chemical
Yeah,
Romance
exactly.
breaking.
I was gonna say that Fall Out Boy,
Like-
My Chemical Romance,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Paramore
that kind of shit would not
was
exist
influenced.
if
Yeah.
it wasn't for
I mean,
Weezer.
they were
That's
clearly,
true.
and they said, I mean,
Or it would, but it wouldn't be like popular.
Patrick Stump, Gerard Way, and the singer of Paramore, said that they were influenced.
Haley Williams.
Yeah,
That's her name.
yeah, the favorite redhead of everyone. Yeah, they said that they were influenced by the early Weezer albums. So, yeah, I mean,
Interesting.
but I don't necessarily consider this album emo, in a way. I mean, it has an angsty feeling, but not necessarily an emo quality to it, to put it in a way. But yeah, I do understand that. Okay, so Sweat, what do you think of Pinkerton?
This is the only time I'm gonna say this the whole night, but I adore this album
Oh
to bits.
damn!
I do not think there's a single, like, in terms of musically and like hook wise, this is the best pop shit they've ever had. Like all of the hooks on this record, and like the build ups and all the vocal melodies are so good. Like I every single song has like really cool section stuff, and the production on it is it's not like rough, but it packs a lot of punch that I think was kind of missing from Blue Album. I think it's the best they've ever sounded. Every song is stellar. Pink Triangle is like, we talked about that before, but I might say in terms of being a song, that's my favorite track, because it's just such a great, I don't know, it's just so catchy. All of this is so catchy, and like the intro is like The way this album opens is so good. Like with "Tired of Sex," that fucking like guitar that comes in at the synth. I don't know those are my two favorite Weezer songs. I adore all of these tracks, except maybe "Butterfly," but I can understand its placement. I still think it's great. Every track is great to me, at least.
That was unexpected. Like honestly. But yeah.
You didn't expect that?
Yeah.
I didn't really like. This is the only Weezer album I really like listened to when I was younger because I had it on CD and I only listened to things on CD. But yeah, it's stellar. I love this record.
When I was 8, I had a CD of the best alternative music from the 90s from my sister that had "Island in the Sun" on it. Not from the 90s, but from the early 2000s, from 2004 or 5. That's the only approach to Weezer I had when I was younger. Maybe until I was 12, listening to their entire discography. But
I actually got introduced by "Island in the Sun" too. My friend played it for me in his house. I think like when I was 10 or something.
I think "Island in the Sun" is their most well-known track, to be honest.
I thought it was "Say It Ain't So."
Or Buddy Holly.
Or
I would say Buddy Holly is their most well known.
Who cares, really? They're all the most well-known Weezer songs are very good.
Yeah.
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 So Phallus, what do you think of Pinkerton?
Okay, so right off the bat, I think that Pinkerton is Weezer's best so far, without a shadow of a doubt. Like, if Blue Album was just like a personification of a suburban 14-year-old geek with like 2 friends, Pinkerton is like him, but now he's 17 and he has never gone and laid, and he's just pissed. And that it's 34 minutes of a white boy being pissed because he said he has never gotten laid, and it's really good. It's really well done. I agree that its production is the best Weezer production, without any doubt, in their entire musical history. I personally believe that "Butterfly," even though it's kind of creepy, and almost like just really weird, it's a really good closer because it just closes it really well. It really does close the album really well. It grabs all of that virgin angry essence and like makes it like concentrated and diluted into this almost 3-minute track. The opener, once again, superior to the Blue Album opener. Although "My Name is Jonas" is great, "Tired of Sex" is way better. And I just think that the reason why it resonates with so many people and is so poignantly good is because to some extent almost everyone can somehow relate to at least a single verse in a single of one of these tracks, because everyone has felt some way or the other that this album represents.
Yeah.
Be it why bother and them just not wanting to take any risks because they don't want to be heartbroken, or tired of sex, somebody that doesn't feel like their relationship is more than just sexual, falling for you, the few people who have sadly been pink triangled and are pissed at gay women.
I can relate to that one pretty much.
Yeah, I'd like to say the other
Rest in peace.
the other not good line on here, in addition to the Butterfly one, is the one on Pink Triangle, which is "Why can't she be a little straight?" That's
not everyone's a little queer. Why can't you? Yeah, it's just great. It's so incel-y. Like it just. And the thing is, even though it is all of this and it's fun and it's really fun to make fun of as an album and to just mock the fans of it, at the end of the day, you still listen to it, and in a couple moments, you really just sit down and are like, yeah, I do get that. And that's the thing. It's an album that everybody can just get somehow, which makes it really good. And I think it's
surprisingly universal.
Exactly, because even if you are in a relationship, you can somehow relate to one of these based on past experience.
Okay, I don't know about that one.
No. I mean,
maybe.
I mean, I was in a long relationship, and I still kind of. I mean, I agree with what you said, but while being in a relationship, you would be like, nah, bruh, nah, that was not me, nah. But when you're single, oh fuck, you're like, oh shit. Hell yeah.
Wait, did I say I meant you were in a relationship. I'm stupid. Remember that. Okay, I think the quarantine's getting to me. What I meant to say was, even if you have been
In a relationship, yeah,
because
I think
it's a very virgin album. So even if you aren't that much of a like alone since birth, you can still like it's
I mean,
just incredible.
what
I really do think it's a masterpiece, and it doesn't waste a single second off of those 34 minutes.
Yeah. I
get the people here who love it.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, this is the album that shows that Rivers Cuomo really was a great songwriter. The chorus,
Yes.
like the fucking verses and choruses here are so catchy. Why Bother it has one of the best and most and catchiest phrases I've ever listened to in any song.
I completely forgot to say that. Yeah, Why Bother is my favorite track off of
Why
the entirety of
Bother?
Pinkerton. It's
It's
2
gonna
minutes of
hurt
perfection.
It's gonna kill.
Kill when you do. It's just perfection.
Yeah.
He's so angry. Like he's just whining. It's not even
Yeah, I
singing.
bet
He's
another
whining.
thing.
Why bother? It's gonna hurt me. It's just.
I bet everybody here could at least like haven't listened, but they could like play back some of the choruses from most of these songs. I'd venture to guess because they're just so well written.
Yeah.
And they're really catchy. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's even like all of what I said apart. To add upon that, it's catchy. It's catchy virgin music.
Catchy.
Will about Rivers Cuomo. He knows how to write a hook.
He does,
Just
and he did
yeah,
that
he
in the
does
Blue
it a
album.
lot.
Of
He still
Like,
kind
he
of does
did-
actually.
he did that in the Blue album. Like say it inside. Like yeah, he did that, but he perfected it in Pinkerton. That's the thing. Pinkerton is Blue album, but better for me, personally. That's
I agree.
that's how you can sum it up.
I think Blue Album might be objectively a bit better.
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
think that I say that these two are tied, and that it depends on how you feel about both albums. I relate mostly to the things that are said on the Blue album. I think it's much more stronger instrumentally, but I do think this is up to the same level as the Blue album basically. So I really don't get the discussion of what Weezer album is best, the Pinkerton or the Blue album. Both are great, both are staples of the band. So I mean, if someone told me that their favorite album by the band is the Red album, I would fucking punch them in the face. But if they said either
Oh no! I hope somebody's favorite album here isn't the Red album. That would sure suck.
so yeah, I mean, anyone else has any last few words for Pinkerton before we move on to the rest of stuff that the band has made?
This is where I take my leave.
Okay, Gabe. See you next time.
Yeah. You gotta
Goodbye,
be
guys.
you gotta
Brave
Gabe,
soldier.
Gabe, you have to at some point just like transition from a boy into a man and listen to all of the bullshit that Weezer created.
From a man into a boy.
To a man,
Man,
I like that.
Yeah.
One day I will do it, but I don't know how soon that day will be. You just gotta.
Nah, I don't recommend anyone
Promise me it will come.
to do that. But yeah, I mean, moving forward, they did release a couple of EPs that are worth noticing. On 1997, they released The Good Life, that showed that they really had a great stage presence at the time. I mean, if you watched footage from them before then, they went out like with a stereotypical nerdy look, especially Rivers. And in a way they still do now, but it's not the same as before. They later released the Christmas CD, that is 2 songs that I don't know why they exist.
The Christmas CD is a very weird one because when it comes to Weezer music, it's not that bad? Question mark.
I mean,
but
the
all
Christmas
music sucks from my perspective, so
the Christmas song is great, but Christmas Celebration is just awful. I don't like that song at all.
I really like the cover. That's really good.
I like how
It's so
Rivers.
low res on radio music at least.
I don't know. I don't know if it isn't if it does not have a rating below a 3. I'm just eliminating radio music immediately. But after that, in 2001, Weezer came back to studio with a new album, the Green Album, And up to this point, they would have with this album and the next one, a stretch of 2 albums that are decent. They are not bad. They do have some lows. Do have some fucking low points. Uh, I certainly dislike 2 songs here. Well, not dislike, but I think they could have been more. This album has one of the weakest. Not no. This album has a bad closer. Oh Girlfriend is a song I cannot stand. Simple Pages is a song I just dislike. And Crab is an awful song, in my opinion. This album has one of their best songs, Island in the Sun.
Yes.
I feel so bad for people that bought this, thinking it would be as good as Island in the Sun. I think the first 2 tracks are good as well. Don't Let Go and Photograph are enjoyable, but after that and Island in the Sun, you just
Hash pipe, come on.
Hash Pipe is decent. I don't think it's bad.
Hashpipe is a banger. Hello.
I don't like it that much. I don't think it's bad. I just don't bother with it. I think it's mediocre. Knockdown Drag Out is another track that I think has a decent hook as well. But after that, I certainly dislike Oh Girlfriend a lot. I think this would be the start. This is the proper start of their decline. But Island in the Sun is a banger. That's what I have to say. That's basically the only thing I take out from this album is the fact that Island in the Sun is a banger. Like, this could have been more than it ended up being. But yeah, that's it. Gary, what do you think of the Green Album?
Well, coming after Pinkerton, it's really disappointing for me. Even though that's kind of it's kind of like what you would expect, considering that there was like a really long time in between Pinkerton coming out and this coming out, at least in terms of Weezer albums or Rivers Cuomo. I think went through some tough times and worked through a lot of his shit. And Rick Ocasek returning as producer, so it's definitely kind of returned to that more polished pop sound with the production and the songs. I don't remember many of them. I just remember a lot of them being mid and kind of uninteresting and forgettable, apart from Hashpipe and Island of the Sun, which I think are both bangers. I actually really love Hashpipe. And Island of the Sun, I think, is a lot of people's intro to Weezer, and it's also a really fun, catchy song. But other than that, I just have nothing to say about this album. It's kind of just nothing.
Bland. It feels like a bland
It's
experience.
bland,
Yeah.
Should have been the Beige album.
Soup, what do you think of the Green Album?
The Beige album.
The Beige.
Okay. Well, hang on. Okay. So this one I gave a 6 out of 10. I think I'm gonna put it 8th spot in my ranking.
It's but I
Yeah. Again, as okay.
No, don't worry.
Yeah, as you said. Okay. So there are some great tracks here. Like I'm just going through my track ratings here. Photograph and Crab, I both have a 7. And Glorious Day is really great. I have that one at an 8. But so many of these are just I mean, Hashpipe and Island in the Sun, really nice tracks. I don't care for them. And yeah, this is. Actually, I'll shut up now. Yeah, that's all I have to say about this album. It's very okay, but there's some great tracks, but it's just a lot of this just kind of goes in the background for me.
I put it at 6th place in my ranking. Yeah, 6th place. You really don't care about Island in the Sun? I mean, the riff is really iconic.
Nice track. It's just not one that I come back to. You know, it's nice while it's on, but I'm not gonna seek it out. You know,
I understand.
it's fine.
It's just fine.
Eh.
But yeah. Sweat, what do you think of the Green Album?
It's competent. Take the 2 singles, which are Hashpipe and Island in the Sun, and don't listen to the rest of the record.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's what you do.
Phallus, what do you think?
I would also
Oh.
like to say, actually, sorry.
Go ahead.
I would also like to say that those two singles were the other songs from Weezer that I have childhood memories with, so I might be a bit biased. I don't really see many differences between those two tracks and the rest of the album musically. I don't know, it's just not very good.
Phallus, what do you think of the Green album?
I think that the Green album is often just like you give it too much hate, man. It's the shortest Weezer release, 28 minutes. But yeah, it doesn't have the songwriting of Pinkerton. It doesn't have the highs of Blue. But come on, man, it's fun. Like I listened to the Green album and I find it fun all the way throughout. It has a fun sound. It's playful. It doesn't give a shit. And I really like how it just doesn't give a shit. I find it to be the third best Weezer release in my humble opinion.
Oh shit!
Because it's just fun. Like it doesn't bother with trying to make carefully crafted verses or specifically like legendary hooks or anything. You just hear it and it's fun all the way throughout. And I don't give a shit what Cuomo's is singing about because like it's already established she's a sad incel and it's a 2001 Weezer album. But I just find it really enjoyable. So I don't come back to it often, but the times that I did listen to it in the past, I really liked it. I give it that's irrelevant. Fuck RYM. It's great. That's the point.
Okay. I think it could have been more, honestly. Same with the next album. I think they could have been.
Biggest disappointment of 2001.
What's the first one?
The worst thing to happen in 2001. Nothing comes close.
For sure. Yeah, nothing else.
So after this, a year later, did we release another underwhelming album, in my opinion, by the name Maladroit. Maladroit is what I define wasted potential. Is what I used to define wasted potential. It's just that I know a lot of people that think this is the best Weezer album, or that they think that this is overlooked, and you can kind of see why. There were a lot of good ideas in here. There are a lot of ideas that could have been something more than they ended up being, and all that applies to all the songs here. Really, all of these songs could have been great. It really has a spirit that could rival Pinkerton in a way, but just the performances are so bland. The songs here feel uninspired, something that could have been something a lot more than what it was. It does have a good this album doesn't have any tracks I dislike. It has tracks I think are just boring as fuck, like Space Rock, Fall Together, Love Explosion. It has a great track that I like a lot called Burn Jam. I don't know how to pronounce the name, but overall I think it's just, when I listen to this I just go like, fuck man, this could have been so much better. But yeah, that's all I have to say about this one. So Gary, what do you think of Maladroit?
Well, you mentioned that a lot of people think Maladroit is underrated or overlooked, and I am one of those people. I actually think Maladroit's. I think a lot of, some of the songs, like you said, Space Rock, a couple other songs aren't that interesting melodically or in terms of hooks, but there are some bangers on here, like Death and Destruction, Slob, Burnt Jam. I love that run of songs, and a couple others as well. And it's got this weird sound that I don't really hear anywhere else in Weezer. Like the guitars are almost like a lot heavier and kind of more spaced out, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's a really weird sounding Weezer album, but I think it in some places it kind of works. Like I don't think Maladroit is a great album, but I think it's good. I think there are a lot of good ideas, and I like a lot of the songs. Like I have it at a 3.5. It's kind of very reflective of that rating.
This is my favorite. I prefer this one to the Green album, honestly.
Me too. I way prefer Maladroit to the Green album. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say about it.
So yeah, Soup, what do you think of Maladroit?
Okay. I have this at number 12. My top 13.
Oh damn.
Okay,
Oh damn.
so
Oh, just so
you
you're
know,
right.
on the past few podcasts, where it was just like the string of albums that are very mediocre,
Yeah.
and I was just really bummed out to talk about it. This doesn't do that. I just get angry thinking about it. Um, this has two cool songs on it, Slob and Burnt Jam. The rest are so mediocre. It's just this background noise. There's just nothing here. It's just it felt like they were trying to do a hash pipe like 3 more times on here. It's uh, it frustrates me thinking about it. I'm just sound fucking blows. That's all I'm gonna say.
I get your frustration, man. Sweat, what do you
This
think?
is frustrating. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't heard it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've
You're
heard Keep
missing out.
Fishing. That's a good song.
So, fellas, what?
Maybe
do
I
you
should
think?
hear it. I don't know. Do you guys think I should listen to this album?
Yeah.
You should give it a. You can
I'd say so.
Give it a try.
Okay.
Which will take me to like my take about it, which is I think that Maladroid is. Give me a.
So what?
Yeah. I think it's their fourth best album.
Oh, shit.
In my opinion,
Ooh.
Oh.
it's their most like. If you listen to every single Weezer album, the one that stands out the most, not because it's good or bad, but because it's the most different, I'd say. In in like not a bad sense. Like Ratitude is very different, but in an extremely negative sense.
Yeah.
Like Maladroid stands out because it's a different style.
Shit.
And it tries to no, I disagree. It's a good style, and in a couple tracks here, Weezer really shows that if they stuck to this style and actually gave a shit and try to do it well, they could have created an extremely competent record to rival the perhaps not rival, but clearly like overshadow Green and White and Everything Will Be All Right. Like this has potential to be just below Pinkerton and Blue, but they were they kind of pissed out on it and they didn't stick on it properly and just created kind of as I don't remember who was saying, half the tracks here are just kind of mediocre, to be completely honest. And while it's not bad by any means, I actually think it's pretty good. I enjoy it. I like the style that it shows and think it could have been very creative and very different and refreshing. It really is a refreshing Weezer record, but it just falls a little bit flat because they didn't give a shit enough, which is very clearly shown in their next album that they really didn't give a shit about which direction Weezer was going. So it's just it's, as Cringe was saying, it's a little bit sad. Like it could have been so much better.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good.
I mean,
It could have been really good.
it's an example of wasted potential, as I say, because a lot of things here have the possibility of becoming really great tracks. I don't like Slob, but it could have been so much better than what it ended up being. Which take us to the next album in 2005, Make Believe.
Yeah.
Make Believe is fuck. Oh god.
Fuck yes.
Make Believe feels like if a horny and lonely 14-year-old Weezer fan listened to Pinkerton and the Blue Album and went, oh wait, I know how to play a guitar and kind of sing off key. And they made this album as a tribute to the band. This is an album that is all over the fucking place and doesn't really do anything well. It's something that is not good. It's just like I as I was saying, it's just like after getting laid or after getting a life, these guys just lost it. They just didn't have. I mean, the lyrics I just don't like the lyrics here. The lyrics are bad.
Any future musicians out there, don't get laid. Your music will suck.
The lyrics are so fucking. They are something that I really dislike a lot. Something that I really can't say anything good about. The vocal, I don't like the vocal performance of Rivers here. It's really off key. It's really bad. The damage in your heart, and this is such a pity, are some awful songs. The only song I like here is the last track, "Haunt You Every Day." Is I kind of I think it's decent. However, the opener, "Beverly Hills," is a ridiculous song. It's a song you could hear going to the mall with your friends on the bus, and the bus driver puts the station of annoying pop songs, and this comes up. Perfect Situation. I don't know, man. It's just annoying lyrics. The album, annoying lyrics.
Perfect Situation is so gross.
Yeah. Fuck. Peace is. We're all on drugs. Is just awful. It's. I really certainly don't like this album. I think it's one of their worst. Not their worst. Definitely not their worst. I put it at 10th place on my ranking of all Weezer albums. But fuck, it's just. Oh god, I really don't think it's really good at all. I feel so bad for the people that bought this thinking they had a chance. So Gary, what do you think of the fantastic Make Believe?
Yeah, it's dog shit. It's God, I like again like a lot of these newer Weezer albums. There are songs like I'm looking at a lot of the track list, and I only really remember a couple of these songs, like Beverly Hills and Perfect Situation, because they had videos that also suck. God, I hate the video for Perfect Situation so much. It's just so gross and tacky. Actually, like I would use the word tacky to describe this album. It's a tacky album. It's just it's gross. It's not good. There aren't any songs in here that I like, that I genuinely like. I either literally don't remember them or remember them and remember disliking them. It's like I guess that Beverly Hills was a big hit because it was radio friendly, especially for the time. But it's just not. It's not a good song. It's really, this album really gets on my nerves. I actually think it's worse than Ratitude. I prefer Ratitude to Make Believe.
Oh no, we're gonna get to that now.
Yeah.
So Soup, what do you think of Make Believe?
This is my sixth favorite Weezer album.
Oh shit.
Okay. I was kind of debating on saying this during either during the Make Believe discussion or the Ratitude discussion. I think if I'm gonna stay alive, I'll say it now. Personally, I get the most enjoyment from Weezer when they are either A, at their most sincere, at their most heartfelt, or B, at their most ridiculous and at their fucking corniest. And this is kind of the start where they go really ungodly corny, and I love it. Beverly Hills is so dumb. We Are All on Drugs is so dumb. I love it. It's just, yeah. I mean, it's just, there's some genuinely good songs on here. Good luck finding them. But I just wanted to say that's just good. It's corny as fuck. Love it. It is. I mean, it's a 6 out of 10. It's not that great. But yeah, and I just want to bring that up. And yeah,
I mean,
I don't hate any of the songs here. Like the really corny, like Weezer songs. I don't hate any of them. I'll be honest. I think they're at their absolute worst. Again, I was going with Maladroit. When they're so ungodly forgettable, that's when I like them the least. And that's why my bottom three are Black Album, Maladroit, and Pacific Daydream.
oh shit.
So that's all I have to say. Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Okay, so Sweat, what do you think of Make Believe?
I haven't heard it.
You know, send that.
Oh yeah. I've heard Beverly Hills. I've heard Perfect Situation. Perfect Situation is okay. I'd put it on par with most of the songs on Green. Beverly Hills is one of the funniest fucking things I've ever listened to. That shit
so
is
dumb.
insane. It's so bad. It's like you have the fucking boom boom cat drum beat. It's I can't I love it it's just terrible. But I might listen to it. I won't. But I might listen to it. I won't.
Phallus, what do you
Yeah.
think of Make Believe?
You see, I lied. When I said that I listened to the entirety of the Weezer discography, like, in a single day, I heard 45 seconds off of Beverly Hills and said, do I really want to listen to an entire album like this? I pondered it for those 45 seconds and decided that I loved myself more than that and just skipped the entire album altogether.
Nice.
But off of those 45 seconds, it's shite.
Wise decision. Wise
Nice.
decision.
Pussy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, practically after this is Weezer's downhill. Even though their next album is not that bad, it's actually decent. It's not good. But in 2008, they would release the Red album, where they just get the dick out of their pants and put their fucking cocky attitude on your face. Instead of being geeky, they are like fucking cock and ball music, trying to get on your face with their attitude that, oh yeah, I get laid, I'm the greatest to ever live. I like the opener, Troublemaker, and I think the rest of the album is boring. The greatest man that ever lived,
Yeah.
Variations on a Shaker. I think it's basically nothing. It's 5 minutes of nothing. Pork and Beans is incredibly boring. Heart Songs is just what else do we have? Let me check out the track list. I know that the closer, The Angel and the One, is decent for a closer, but it's still not good. This album offers you nothing as a whole. I think it's one of the most okay Wizard experience. I think it's above average. I think it's in my 7th on my ranking. It's not as good as the Green album. It just could have been. I don't even say could have been more, because I don't know how any of these songs could have been more. The only song I truly like here is Dreaming and Troublemaker, maybe. But yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say. This is a really boring, all on your face, like they just have that self-indulgence, pricky attitude on them, and it's just so. Rivers just doesn't feel like Rivers in here. It just feels like a completely different person. So Gary, what do you think of the Red
It's
album?
the mustache effect.
What?
I mean, I like the central point about it is that you just said it. Rivers is a self-indulgent asshole, but I actually kind of dig it. Like, it's in like the Room sort of the way where I don't think the album is genuinely good, but I don't know, just especially on like Troublemaker or I'm the Greatest Man Who Ever Lived. It feels so. It feels. I mean, it just feels tacky in such a way that's that it's fun, it's enjoyable. It's like and that they are like, I think a couple of the songs on here are kind of fun. I really do like Pork and Beans too. Like the music video for Pork and Beans is really but a lot of the album, like a lot of the back end of the album especially, is really forgettable. But like the songs at the front of it, the songs people remember, I think are just it's almost like Rivers did, like he grew the mustache. By the way, he looks terrible with the mustache. It's hilarious. Look up Rivers Cuomo mustache. It's just, it almost feels like he's doing it because he can, and he's kind of a prick. But I kind of dig it. I don't know. I think it's funny.
Soup, what do you think of the Red album?
Number 7 in my ranking, right between Green album and Make Believe. There are some, yeah. Okay. The opener, Troublemaker, really good, really fun, catchy. Track 2. What the fuck? Sure, yeah. And some songs are pretty boring, but Closer. What the fuck? Sure. That's kind of my attitude towards the whole album. I think someone said this is Weezer's Jesus, and sure.
Why not?
Yeah, fuck it. There's so many ideas just thrown at the wall. It's just you gotta admire it.
I'm kind of grossed out by it.
Yeah.
So, Sweat, what do you think of the Red album?
Well, I didn't really bother to do a ranking, but I do know that this is my third favorite Weezer album. Yeah, it's kind of fantastic. Like, there are bad songs on here, but all the bad songs, they're bad in the best way. Like the fucking second track, Greatest Man That Ever Lived. What the hell is this song? You got the rap verse. Rivers does a rap verse. And it's just so bad. I can't help but, like, there's something respectable about this album when you compare it to fucking shit like a Black Album and all that. Like, look at the cover art. Just fucking look at that. Oh my god. They released this shit. He's in a cowboy hat. The other guy's in another hat. It's just, I don't know. It's just, and I want to highlight there are like some legitimately amazing. Pork and Beans is like top 5 Weezer songs for me. It's just so beautifully catchy. The music video is great. Heart Songs is pretty. Everybody Get Dangerous is dumb as shit. It's catchy. Second half, I don't think is as strong. Like, again, I don't love this album. I just love it in comparison to everything else. I mean, it still doesn't touch the first two, like, at all. But there's great tracks. Like, Troublemaker's cool. Angel on the One, I want to highlight this song in particular because I think it's one of their most beautiful songs. Like, I legitimately, I haven't seen many people, nobody's talked about this one yet, and I gotta say it's great. Like, it has a lot of emotional power that I don't really, that should not be on this album, because this album has, if anything that I would describe this album with, it's not emotional in any way, but this last track is just great. Yeah. Third favorite.
Now, Pork and Beans really is a track that I cannot stand, honestly. But yeah, Phallus, what do you think of the Red album?
The Red album is interesting. You see, let me get the track list. It's how can I describe it? It's good. Like, it's all right. No, it's a little bit better than all right. A couple tracks here are like, they're all stupid. The cover art shows that very clearly. They don't give a shit. It's 2008. It's kind of stupid, kind of quirky though. But some tracks are good, some are not. It's a Weezer album. That's the thing. Like, you can't say it's as stupidly horrendous as fucking the 45 Seconds of Beverly Hills that I heard, or Ratitude or whatever. It's just more mediocre Weezer sounds, except that a couple of tracks like make it a little bit more redeemable, but overall is just there. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest here. I think I heard of this album while, like, I was not paying much attention to it, because I don't remember much about it except the fact that it's a Weezer album, which, with a couple songs that I remember, I thought, like, hey, this is nice, and the rest is just Weezer. Like, it's the most Weezer album in their entire discography, in the sense that it's just Weezer sound with mediocre to slightly good output. Like, it's just there.
I do agree with that take. I do agree.
I can't. If somebody says, like, I actually think it's pretty good, I have it in my top 2 or top 3, I was like, all right, I I guess I can understand where you're coming from. If you say if you say it's your favorite, like I think there is something wrong with you medically. But
I
apart
just
from
want to
that-
say, like, there's a lot of really bad moments on here. It's just in terms of enjoyment, it's really high for me. out of
yeah,
the rest.
like I can get that.
It's a
Because
beautiful
it's
train
just-
wreck.
It's just there. I think it's like it's basically in like if from my own opinion a shittier green. That's it. Like it's there.
It's a shittier green. I agree with that. Honestly, that kind of defines it as a whole for me. Oof. I don't think there's a lot to say about the following albums. I do have a lot to say about the following one, though. Oh god.
Are we gonna do all the rest of the albums, or just kind of go more quickly at this point?
No pussying out. We are doing every single album.
I mean, we're only how long?
Yeah, this has gone by pretty fast.
Yeah,
in
it's
comparison to-
hour and a half. Honestly, it's not yeah. So, a year later, 2009. Okay, I'm just gonna say right off the bat. I'm not gonna even bother to introduce. Ratitude is shit. I hate Ratitude. Ratitude is one of the worst Weezer album. One of the worst albums of the 2000s, in my opinion. I only think. Okay, so it starts with one track. If you're wondering if I want you to, I want you to. I think it's a good track. But after that, it goes to shit. I'm your daddy. The girl got hot. Can't stop partying. With fucking Lil Wayne is there for some reason.
Okay, bitches, Weezer and it's Weezer.
You know, I don't know.
There's a track that has an Indian sample to start off with. It's fucking atrocious. When I listened to this album, I certainly was disgusted by it. I don't get disgusted by a lot of albums. I said it on my ranking. If I have more fun drinking cyanide than listen to this shit. This album is disappointing, and I'm not even a fucking Weezer fan. It's just there are horrible songs here. The Can't Stop Partying with Lil Wayne is awful. Love Is the Answer is horrendous. Let It All Hang Out is atrocious. Put Me Back Together is cheesy as fuck. Not even in a good way. I can enjoy bad tracks, but this is just awful. I really. This is a record I can say, and quoting Gabe in the other way. Not quoting Gabe, but saying the opposite. This is among some of the worst shit I've ever listened to. Some of the worst album. One of the worst albums I've ever listened to recently. It's just awful. It's fucking awful. I certainly think this just the lowest they would have been. I hope this is the lowest they ever achieved. To be honest, I hope.
I mean, 2020 has been pretty eventful so far.
Yeah.
So Van Weezer could take the crown. Who knows?
The worst event of 2020, Van Weezer.
Van Weezer might bring about the end of society as well.
Okay, so Gary, what do you think of Ratitude?
So I said offhand for Red that it's a beautiful train wreck, and I think that I'd rather apply that to Ratitude. I mean, yeah, it's objectively a terrible album, but I kind of love it for that. Like, it's bad in a really entertaining way. Like, you have a Lil Wayne on one of the songs. You have the Indian sample. You have, like, a song called I'm Your Daddy. Like, come on, what is... It's so... And the album cover is so stupid. It's just... It's like... I don't know. One of my favorite movies of all time is Birdemic, which if you know anything about the movie, it's horrendously awful. But just watching it is so entertaining because of that. And I like maybe not to the same extent as that, but I get some of the same thing with Ratitude. Like, I mean, I can agree with you. I can agree with people who say like, yeah, this is the worst Weezer album, but it's. I don't know, like, I can't hate it the same way I hate something like Pacific Daydream or the Black Album, because those are bad in a boring way. Ratitude is bad in such an explosive, interesting way, you know? It's a train wreck. It's like reality TV. You know, it's that kind of. I get that kind of entertainment out of Ratatouille. If that makes.
I certainly do not enjoy this album at all. Just not in any, not in a. It's so cheesy. It's funny. No, there's a level of cheesiness that I just can't stand. Wow. So, Soup, what do you think of Ratatouille?
This is my fourth favorite.
What?
Okay.
Up top.
Yeah.
And you make fun of my takes.
Yes, sir. Okay. So as I was saying earlier, they're at their like this band is at their best when they're most sincere or absolute corniness. This is the corniest at its peak. You can't get any higher than this. Okay. You know, first track it eases you in. You know, it's pretty chill. You know what you expect from the band, and it goes straight downhill. I'm your daddy, and the girl got hot. Is just a barrage, and I love it so much.
It's amazing how quickly this just goes downhill.
It just it eases you in, and then it's just I'm your daddy. You know.
The fucking
But
the electronic
it's-
come in for.
It's so I can't hate this any of these like really corny albums. I'll bring in the Gary mentioned the movie. I'll bring one up too. There's another disaster from 2001 called Freddy Got Fingered.
Oh shit! Yeah, what the?
I was thinking about
is
that.
that?
Exactly.
What the
audio
fuck
form.
is that? I've been hearing about that recently a lot.
It's incredible. I would before you go on about that, I would like to say that I feel like Freddy Got Fingered is intentional than Ratatouille.
Yeah, much more intentional.
But yeah, continue.
This is just it's such a wonderfully misguided album. Just again, I can't hate this. Like a Lil Wayne feature, like why, but also fuck yes.
Hell yeah!
It's just hell yeah. That's all I have to say about it. Yeah.
God, I really I really don't find any enjoyment listening to this shit. And I
It's very
love
dumb and it's
I love horrible albums. I love some horrible albums. I love Tom McDonald's Death Threats. It's so fucking corny, but this is just another level. So Phallus, no Sweat. What do you think of Ratatouille?
Yeah, I didn't expect this to be the popular opinion on this record, but yeah, again, this is not one of their worst for me.
Shit.
Like, I Can't Stop Partying is one of the funniest songs I've ever heard. It's like such a horrible fucking piece of shit. Like people, I'm talking about the Lil Wayne song, but you don't even need the Lil Wayne on this song for it to be
really,
god awful. He's the little cherry on top here. Like there's the synth line, there's like the wubbing, there's kind of some dubstep in there. It's like the wheel that kind of happens. It's so bad, and that's throughout the entire album. My problem with it is it stops being funny bad towards the end and just becomes really boring. Like Red was consistently entertaining. This one is not nearly that way. Like you have the first 5 tracks, and I actually would like to highlight "Put Me Back Together" because I unironically kind of love that song. It's just real. But after that, the rest of it is just so boring. Like, I totally get the hate for this record. It deserves it. I find that first half to be really entertaining, and the second half is just boring. In the Mall is one thing I'd point to as being like just horrendously nothing of a song. But yeah, it's Ratatouille. That's my thoughts on it. It's Ratatouille.
Good
It's got
already.
a red attitude.
I also really like the cover. Cover's really good.
I,
Yeah.
It's great.
I feel bad for the dog, so bad. Phallus, what do you think of Gratitude?
The first thing, like, I was gonna save this all the way to Pacific Daydream. The first thing I heard from Weezer, surprisingly enough, before I got the musical doctrine, the only thing I've ever heard from Weezer was the single "Feels Like Summer" from 2017 off of Pacific
Oh
Daydream.
God.
You see, surprisingly enough, I don't think that's a bad song. I legitimately think that that song is interesting enough, and it's really, really corny and stupid. But compared to the rest of Pacific Daydream, it's not the worst because it's like slightly competent. My taste was worse back then in 2017. I mean, it still is kind of shitty, but apart from that, I was interested in the band.
Flamboyant.
So I go on. Flamboyant by Dorian Electra is a goddamn masterpiece. Silence Chilean.
Go ahead.
So I go onto Spotify on Weezer's page and see that there's an album 3 fucking times on their artist page, and it's Weezer. And I'm like, why the fuck do they have the same album 3 times? But I skip it. I don't listen to it. And I never listen to anything by Weezer, except like Pinkerton later on, due to seeing it mentioned somewhere. But the point is, I've always been intrigued because of its triple presence, the fucking dog, everything. And I didn't ever give it a chance. I learned that it was shit, that it's legendarily bad, etc., etc. And the only time I decided to give it a try is when a certain legendary member off of another Discord server, Paraby, listened to it and decided it was his unironic favorite Weezer record. I was like, okay, I gotta listen to this. I did the last 5 tracks. When I heard the Lil Wayne feature, I did feel my soul leave my body a little bit. There's a difference between so bad it's laughable, and like I did feel that for a little bit, but then I was like, okay, the funny's over. What's left? Shite. That's the only thing that is left. So I gave it like 5 or 6 tracks, I think. I asked Paraby if all the tracks were like this. He said pretty much. I just stopped. I gave it the 3 out of 10 that it deserves and moved the fuck on.
It's a bad album. I genuinely.
You're really missing out on that second half, man.
You know, after what Sweat said, I am.
No, you're not.
intrigued.
You're not. The second half
Yes.
is.
It's,
I think
it's
it's
equally
worth
bad. Okay.
before you talk about an album to hear all the songs on it at least. But yeah.
Yeah, that's why I didn't like. It's just, it's not their worst because it does have that funny value. Like it does have that little big funny. It is kind of funny, kind of creepy.
I don't
So
think it's.
it does have that. It has that going for it.
I
In
certainly.
the initial 4 tracks, like when you hear the chorus for "Can't Stop Partying" for the first time, you do laugh.
I didn't
So
laugh.
it's not their worst.
No one's laughed. I was.
A lot of people,
When I
like
was-
just for that, it's not their worst, but it's pretty dang.
I actually really like the hook on Can't Stop Partying. I had
love
it stuck in my head many
Sure.
times. I don't know why. I think I don't know. That song is just glorious. It's amazing.
When the Little Wayne.
Mind expanding.
When the Little
thing,
Wayne
you know?
feature comes in, and you go like, "Oh shit!" Guess who is it? Guess who it
you know, you
is?
start throwing. That's when the DJ hands over the microphone. And the crowd just goes fucking wild and starts raving all this. They start letting out all the balloons in the,
Also,
in the audience.
the Indian sample is one of the best things to ever come out of music. Like I do have to acknowledge that. I fucking love it. Like the way that the Indian language sounds. There's something like if used correctly, it can make stuff funnier. I think everybody knows that to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And in the context of fucking gratitude, it's
It's a why moment. Very
words don't need to describe it. It's just
It's just glorious. I don't know. I certainly really is the only record from Weezer I dislike to the point that I really don't think it has anything of value to it. But as I understood today, it's something more personal than anything. Apparently, a lot of people like this album for some reason. I didn't know
I won't say I like it. I don't like it. Like, I get enjoyment from it. It's probably their worst, but like I get a lot of enjoyment.
I do like it.
I like some songs.
Yeah. Some of those.
I don't even.
pretty good.
Oh god. I don't know.
What's next again?
Hurley. Hurley is next.
Oh yeah. All right.
Wonderful Hurley. Fuck. I certainly. It's one of the few instances where I go and say that I dislike an album. Like, dislike it. Think it's an atrocious piece of media. But I don't know. It's something more personal than anything. I was so fucking surprised that you guys were like, yeah, it's not that bad. I like it.
Me too. Not
I
expecting.
thought you moved on to Hurley. I was so confused.
Yeah.
After this, they released Hurley in 2010,
Yeah.
which is basically a nothing of an album. I just like the first track, Memories.
Memories is a fucking banger.
Memories is so good, but then it doesn't go anywhere. Where's My Sex is atrocious. But after that,
Just the title.
it's just the cover is awful.
Oh, I like the cover.
Poor Hurley.
I
The
like
the
Hurley.
cover is iconic. Please.
It's so good.
But I really don't have anything to say about it. I think it's their most mediocre like album. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's good. I think it's just something I can listen to. But yeah, I don't have to say a lot to say about it. It's harmless, mediocre. Memories is a banger, and that's all I have to say. Gary, what do you think about Wonderful Hurley?
I don't remember anything about this album other than "Where's My Sex" and "Memories." Honestly, like I mean, a couple of these albums I haven't listened to in full for a really long time, and this is one of them. And I think that's just a testament to how forgettable Hurley is. It's just kind of there. I do love the cover art though. I like that guy's smile.
I feel so bad for Lost fans. But yeah, it's just the album. It's the Weezer album that doesn't really give you anything to talk about, to be honest. Soup, what do you think of Hurley?
Okay, I kind of like this one. I'm not gonna die on this hill though. I have this right in front of Hurley. Well, not right in front of Green Album. Yeah, there's some. Again, the opener is really great. Probably the only song you're gonna care about.
Memories.
There's some other really cool songs like I like Brave New World. That was really cool. There's a lot of these songs are pretty boring. It doesn't overstay its welcome though, so I can't really get too angry about this one. It's just some cool songs. This side.
Yeah, basically it's an album that doesn't really offer a lot to talk about. Sweat, what do you think of Hurley?
This album features the song "Memory," which appeared on the Jackass 3D soundtrack. And the Jackass 3D movie, it complements it beautifully. What a stellar piece of film production. I haven't heard the album. I have watched Jackass 3D 4 times, though. And I do have to say that if the rest of the album is anything like Jackass, I think it could be the best album ever made.
It is not.
It's not? Oh, that sucks.
I'm sorry.
I do like oh god, it's been a long time since I watched any Jackass film. I didn't even know that it was on Jackass 3D. Fuck. Is that the one?
Yeah. If I didn't mention it before, it's in Jackass 3D.
Is
The song "Memories" by Weezer.
is that the
in
one
Jackass
that they let a bees sting the balls of one of the of one of the guys, or is that other?
I don't know. No, it's the one where like a porta potty that's filled with shit, and they launch him up like thousands of feet in the air.
Oh yeah.
That's the best part of the movie. There's also the one where the guy falls in the pit of snakes. That's pretty funny.
Phallus.
Yeah, it's a stellar movie.
I think there's
So
more
good.
Jackass discussion than Hurley discussion.
Yeah,
Because
that's the way it should be because Jackass
You see
3D is the best.
No. That's Hurley, basically. Like, the way I see Hurley is, like, there are two types of post-Pinkerton Weezer records, which are the Weezer records and the what the actual fuck is going on records. Ratitude, Make Believe, Pacific, Teal, and Black are the what the fuck is going on. Green, Red, Hurley, Everything Will Be Alright, and White are the Weezer records. And Hurley is basically red, but everybody's dick is like at least 1 inch smaller. Like, it has a lot. It is way
Oh my
less.
God,
Like,
you
That's
just
actually a
reminded
pretty good.
you
Yeah,
of-
it's a pretty good way to describe it.
yeah, because they're not as in your face about it. They're not, ooh, look, we are Weezer making Red album. But it's still that energy, and it like, the tracks are all similar, but slightly worse overall. Like, the quality dropped. It went from being, it's good, I respect it, to it's barely all right. It's not offensive in any way, shape, or form, but it's admittedly very forgettable, and just it really, like, reminisces of Red and of Green, but it's not. Like, I don't think I'll ever in my entire life sit down and say, I think I should listen to Hurley, like, just one more time. Like, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be able to do that for any other Weezer album just out of curiosity or whatever. I am never going to sit down and click on fucking Hurley in Spotify. Ever.
So that was your take on Hurley.
Yeah, it's a 5 out of 10.
For me too. I think it's their most. Memories is a banger though.
Memories
Yeah,
is fine,
Memories. If you didn't know, it was featured in a Jackass 3D
You don't say.
right towards the end.
Wait,
No.
before we move on to the next album, was Memories in any film soundtracks that you
Yeah. Memories was in the movie Jackass 3D.
Oh, really? Oh.
Was it?
I gotta
Yeah.
rewatch Jackass then. Good point.
You don't watch it every day?
Jackass 3D was the one with the beads, right?
It's the only Jackass movie I've seen, but I have
I
seen
don't-
it 4
look.
times.
I have no clue which Jackass movie I saw, but, like, it was a couple years ago. It's the only Jackass movie I've ever seen.
Did it have the
I
song
saw-
"Memories" by Weezer, which is the first track of
I
their
don't,
album? Hurley?
dude, I don't remember. I watched it with some friends, and the reason it was really fucking funny is because my younger brother was there, and I don't remember how many years ago this was, but he's young. He's rather younger than me, so he was like, I remember we were watching. We were like, "Cover your fucking eyes." Yeah, I want to see. All right, your fucking funeral, and a dude got electrocuted in the fucking nutsack.
Oh
with a
yeah,
car battery.
that's the second one.
Like, and my brother was like, "What the fuck am I watching? We told you to close your eyes, you fucking idiot!" And he just watched the entire thing, and I think we scarred him a little bit, but that's just his own problem.
That's the second one. Yeah.
See, I didn't have.
Oh, another
Jackass.
fact about
I had
Jackass.
Lively.
Another cool fact about Jackass 3D is that it is shot by someone who worked with Fugazi. He did the camera.
Ooh. Really?
That's
Yeah, so
interesting.
really, Jackass 3D is connected to some incredible music. You know,
Jackass was. I
it
mean,
also
Jackass is pretty based then.
Does it have any Weezer songs in it?
Oh yeah. It has the song "Memories," which is on their album
It's
"Hurley."
from Hurley, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
I know that album.
Yeah. Okay, so what's next?
Wait, Jackass 3D Jackass 3D. That's the one that it's just 9/11 footage, right? Just the whole movie.
No, I don't think it is.
I think it just shows
And
like
it's just
when the
memories
second
on
tower
loop.
collapses. I think it's just the second tower collapsing, but
Oh,
I don't
okay.
remember.
It's just the second tower, and then it's just memories on loop for 90
No,
minutes.
I don't think it is. I should watch it again. For sure.
Alright.
I think we all should watch it. I think everybody
Yeah,
watched
Oh
it.
no,
Let's do a
that was-
Netflix party.
That was Bad Grandpa.
Oh yeah,
Dude.
that grandpa. That features no music from Weezer.
Yeah, it.
I haven't
well,
seen it, but it features no music.
Its
from
sequel is gonna feature like the entirety of Van Weezer front to back, like in a very low volume, but that's saved for 2021.
Bad Grandpa
alright.
had a scene where a fucking
Okay.
kid was fucking.
Okay.
This guy's.
Are we gonna?
Where an old man puts his cock in a kid's face. So there's that.
There's a lot of dick in the movie Jackass Free, which features the song "Memories" off of their first album. Really.
Please. Can we move on?
Yes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we gonna talk about Death to False Metal now? All right. Cool.
Yeah,
No,
that's
that one,
great.
So I have no clue.
No.
I actually
No,
thought it was a
no.
live album for the longest time, so I didn't bother. I don't know. It just seemed like a live album.
Man,
It's
a lot of
a
people
compilation.
like it.
So after her leave, they released Death to False Metal. That is an album that no one should give a fuck about. It's not their word. I
listened to 2 songs and I don't care.
I put it to the same level as Ratitude. Even if these are re-recordings of all the unreleased songs, this sure is a fake ass album. The only good thing about this is that it exists, but no one gives a flying fuck about it. Like,
Yeah, this is the first time I'm hearing of this album since.
it has a wonderful track, amazing track, called Autopilot, that is fucking atrocious. And Gary, what do you think of the wonderful album by Weezer, Death to False Metal, released in 2010 that features the song Autopilot?
I've never heard it.
That's good.
No one has. Like,
no one
just
has-
cringe.
Yeah, that's great. That's my martyr. Yeah,
Nothing.
basically.
Yeah.
I still think it's better.
The album sold.
I think it's
I'm
better.
pretty sure the album sold like.
I think
Sorry.
it's better than Ratitude. I think it didn't sell at all. I think it was like a low point.
Yeah, it was like 7 copies worldwide and shit.
The cover is awful.
Okay.
The cover is just a.
It's,
Yeah, it looks like shit.
It looks
shit.
like
That's why I
shit.
thought it was a live album.
So after this in 2012, they released the songs from the Black Hole. That I don't remember much about. I've heard it a long time ago, back when I was listening to Weezer when I was 12, basically around 2013, before I turned out 13. So any of you have anything? I remember it being good. I remember liking Act 1, the one that starts from Blast Off to Get You. I don't remember much of the second part. Do any of you?
I don't think it's a bootleg, right? They didn't roll.
It's a bootleg. It's from the Rivers Cuomo, like Home Alone sessions or whatever. That and then people compiled. I'm pretty sure that's what happened with Songs from the Black Hole because it's under the bootleg section. But Rivers Cuomo did release those. I think it was Alone, the home recordings of Rivers Cuomo.
Yeah.
And he did three versions of those, and there are a bunch of those that were compiled into Songs from the Black Hole, which is pretty good.
It's like Smile, but not as cool.
So after this in 2014, they returned with. This is my third favorite Weezer album.
Wait, I want to talk about songs.
Oh, go ahead.
Songs from.
Say.
Yeah, this album's like really good.
What? No. Okay.
Yeah. I really like concept albums, and this has a lot of the best songs from Pinkerton, and a lot of the unreleased material is really good too. I think the way it ends is inconclusive. It doesn't end well, but that's probably just because it's a bootleg. So I won't really hold it to that. But yeah, if you like Pinkerton, I really recommend checking this record. It's like a new side of it, and it's not nearly as pervy, actually, surprisingly. I'm pretty sure.
Is it a concept album?
Touch barely legal girls. In
It is a concept album, yeah.
What is it about?
I believe
It
the
is
story. The story is that
Oh.
they go to space with a people. That's the story. But yeah, for bootleg, it's really good.
It is really good. Like, it has a lot of songs that ended up on Pinkerton. Also a couple of these songs, like from the sessions, ended up on the deluxe edition of Pinkerton. But like a lot of them are really fun. I really love Super Friend. Is this great little power?
Oh,
pop
Super
track.
Friend's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
I think Blast Off might just be their best open. I don't.
really.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, no. Tired of Sex Exists, but
Yeah, I think Tired
Blast
of
Off
Sex
is fucking is not to be snoozed at. It's so good. It's so really fat. A lot of the songs are a lot.
It's
I
23
think,
songs.
but I
and
think the
44
length
minutes
is
long.
due to the like bootleg quality.
Or
That might be
being
possible.
being
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
fucking like home recordings. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course,
Perhaps.
long time sunshine is the closer, which is a beautiful. I love that one.
So after this, they released in 2014. Everything Will Be Alright in the End, which is my third favorite Weezer album. I actually remember, and that made me feel wrong about it. Someone called this the Weezer's progressive rock album
Just because of the last three
just
tracks.
because it has a 3-part song.
There's a trilogy.
It's 6 minutes. It's not even their longest.
Yeah. I don't even know why they split it up in 3 parts. I mean, this is certainly an album that improves a lot of things that the band was failing on. It certainly tries new ideas, new things that would have worked wonderfully if they were fleshed out. However, it brings some of their most entertaining and unique songs in a long time. And even though the album feels weak at times, there are no bad songs at all. Some great ideas that could have been something more than they were. It's really enjoyable. I almost got it at an 8. It just doesn't have. It's a consistently decent record. Ain't Got Nobody, Anonymous, those are great tracks. Cleopatra and Da Vinci are catchy as fuck as well. Foolish Father is great. The sweet, the not even sweet, the fucking 3-part track. It's entertaining. Yeah, I like it. I like it a bit. I really gotta say that this is the best their best in a long time. It really has a lot to offer. But yeah, I mean, Gary, what do you think of Everything Will Be Alright in the End?
I think that I don't know. I think a couple of the songs on here are really good. I really like "Eulogy for a Rock Band" specifically, and the follow-up. And the I don't know. The trilogy's fun, but it doesn't offer much. And I think that like "Back to the Shack" and "Cleopatra's" a fun song. Like I think there's good material on here, but I don't get much out of it. It's just kind of there. I think it's good. I think it's part of. I think that people kind of conceptualize this Weezer revival with Everything Will Be Alright at the end of the White Album, which kind of a jump in quality before they crash and burn once again, which is definitely valid. I think that this is a pretty good, kind of you can definitely say that about their discography, but I don't know. I don't get much out of this one. I do love the album cover though; it's awesome.
I think it's their best album
Forest
cover.
Creature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree.
Like I do think the monster looks a little bit special, like short bust kind of special, but it's a pretty cool cover.
Yeah, he's cute though. He's a cute little guy.
What you fucking?
No, what the hell?
I
No,
would.
I'm not.
See.
Try.
Fucking pussy. So yeah,
That came.
Soup. What do you think of Everything Will Be Alright in the End?
So I said earlier that third place in my ranking was Pinkerton. Number 1 was Blue Album. This one is number 2. There's so many genuinely great songs here, and it's not like, oh, this is so ridiculous. No, this is genuinely back to that, sincerity. That really, there's honesty that was on those first 2 albums. It's just that opener, Ain't Got Nobody, and then Back to the Shack, Eulogy, just back to back. Just so many great tracks here. And okay. But yeah, this is really, really great.
Yeah, I think it's a good return to form.
Okay. I thought there was something up with my mic. But yeah, really good. It's just I listened to it this morning, as with hang on, let me bring this out. Everything from Make Believe to Black Album, I listened to today.
Oh, you motherfucker! How are you so like sapient after that? I don't get it. Like, how did your
Not a
brain not
pussy.
atrophy?
But yeah, it's just if yeah, it's
So,
Very good.
Swed, what do you think of
a
it?
really great Weezer. Just
I might have to echo that. I think my ranking was probably wrong previously. I don't think Red is my third favorite. I don't know. This album and Blue are probably at the same level for me. They're both. I need to come back to it. I haven't heard it in a very long time, but it's pretty stellar. Well, it's stellar in points. Like the first, I think the first 5 songs, that's like a really good stretch. And starting from Foolish Fodder to the end, but everything in the middle is just really boring. Again, I kind of hate Da Vinci. That's a terrible song. But I really dislike the whistling. If that's I don't know, but yeah, I don't like the middle stretch of this, but everything else is fantastic. And I especially want to highlight the which, if Only in Dreams didn't exist, this would be my favorite Weezer song, probably. Like legitimately, I think this is so good. In 6 minutes, it's such a journey for stuff. Like the middle section of the song is so good, and especially the outro with that guitar melody, it's amazing. Like Rivers can solo really well, and I think this is an example. Yeah, it's a great return to form. I think it's really good.
Yeah, I think it's good as well.
Really surprising how good it is, even though it's not like I wouldn't say it's like an amazing record. Like, I don't think anything is. The only amazing Weezer album is Pinkerton for me. I don't think anything's really that great, but like this is just coming from this band at this point. This is just amazing. Mm-hmm. Although Back to the Shack does kind of make me sad considering what happened to them. You know.
What do you mean?
Because that song's like a promise that they're not gonna like. It's like they're gonna make music for the fans or something like that. And you know, it's bullshit, obviously. Yeah, it's funny.
Fucking Kumo.
Fucking Kumo.
Yeah, great record.
I do agree that it's a good return to form, actually. I certainly do agree on that. But yeah, I wish it could have been much better. I honestly think it could have been to the same level as Pinkerton, but it didn't end up being like that. But I still like it a lot.
I think if you take out the middle section, it's their second best.
So fucking Phallus, what do you think of Everything Will Be Alright in the end?
Well, Everything Will Be Alright at the end is a pleasant surprise, considering that it came right after fucking Hurley. But it's, as I said, a Weezer record, and I think that in my ranking, I would place it right next to Maladroit, because I still do think that it doesn't top that fun factor in Green, but it really does show like that it's pretty good. They do still have that spark in there by 2015. I think was when it was released, but it's well done. It's not annoying in the slightest. It shows talent and potential, and it's pretty good. I don't have a very firm position on it. I think I should re-listen to it actually, because I really enjoyed it when I first heard it, and when I heard it the second time. So I do think it's better than White. Like, I don't get people saying that the White album is like, oh, finally Weezer came back to their roots. It's so good. Like, no. What the fuck are you barking about? Everything Will Be Alright in the end already does.
I think by Weezer standards, these two are like great albums, but not great. They're not great albums, but by Weezer standards,
yeah, it's a 7. It's a 7, and it's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, I put it at a 7 as well. It could have been an 8. I don't like talking about. Oh yeah, this could have been an 8.25, but it ended up being a 7.5. No, it's a.
Why do you call out Gabe like that?
I do think it could have been much more. I certainly like it. But nah, I really think it's good. It could have been much better, though. But yeah, that's basically it. I have a thing with the next album, though. I remember that it was all around my face back then, 2016, 17. I stopped following Fontano, but it was pretty. My friends were all on my face like, yeah, he says this is the best rock album, one of the best rock albums on the 2010, and I was like, no, I mean it's good.
That's just wrong.
On 2016, the White Album would come out, and the White Album has a problem. It's not as good as Everything Will Be Alright in the End, and it's not bad. It is a good, decent power pop alternative rock album that certainly proves that Weezer still had it. They still knew how to make catchy tunes in the style of their old music, like on California Kids and King of the World and Endless Bummer. But it wasn't that great as well. I mean, Jacked Up and Thank God for the Girls and Girl We Got a Good Thing are just tracks. After years they make an enjoyable album trying to get back to their glory days. This is just good, enjoyable rock. It has nice hooks and a decent flow. It could have been improved in a lot of ways, but it's certainly a nice, comfy listen, and that is more than you can say about most Weezer discography. And I've heard people calling this Pinkerton too. I don't get it.
That's just fucking
I don't get
stupid.
it. Certainly people who call this Pinkerton too need to listen to Pinkerton once more. It's not bad, but it could have been a lot better. Certainly that. It doesn't have the lyricism of Pinkerton. It doesn't have the style of Pinkerton. Certainly not. And yeah, I think it's just decent, not bad.
I think I'm fine with many albums not having the Pinkerton.
Yeah. I mean, you can be. Wizard could have made an even better record than Pinkerton, not even necessarily following the spirit of Pinkerton. But I mean, I've been hearing that comparison a lot of the White Album is Pinkerton too, and I certainly don't agree with that. It's not one of the best rock albums of the 2010s. Certainly, people who say that have not listened to a lot of rock that came out in the 2010s. So, yeah, Gary, what do you think of the White Album?
Oh, okay. So I actually think this is the closest Weezer has gotten to their peak since, at least like in terms of actual songwriting, that Weezer has gotten to the closest Weezer's gotten to their peak since the 90s. I don't know. I actually like. I'm sort of the stereotype of what you guys were calling, like, how could you say this is a great album? I actually really do like White Album. I think that I prefer it to Everything Will Be All Right in the End by a decent margin. I think the songwriting is more consistent. I think that most of the songs on the album have amazing hooks. This is really where Rivers finds his ability to write hooks again, and of course he loses it once again. But here, White Album, he has it at least for the length of for these 34 minutes. Yeah, I think the track I'd highlight is Summer Lane and Drunk Dory. God, I love that song so much. It's got like 3 or 4 different hooks that kind of transition in and out of each other. The bridge is beautiful. I really love that song. I mean, like, yeah, I agree. I don't think it's Pinkerton 2. It doesn't have that songwriting. It's much more upbeat. It's still like, okay, these guys are in their 40s and they're all married and they don't really give a shit anymore. They're just writing pop music. But it's a well done like power pop album. I actually really do like the White Album. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. Oh yeah, Endless Bummer. I think I love that song too. I think it's one of the quintessential kind of sad acoustic-y Weezer songs that kind of harkens back to something like or at least the vibe of something like Butterfly or Longtime Sunshine. But yeah, I really do like the White Album.
Yeah, I think it's decent. I think it's good. I don't mean it's bad. decent in the way that it could have been much more, but I give it if I had to put it on numbers, I give it a 7. It's not better than Everything Will Be Alright, but I do think it has some highlights. So Soup, what do you think of the White Album?
This one is very, very okay, and that's all I can really say. This was the last one I listened to today. There's some really interesting songs here. I guess that's all I can say. Thank God for Girls. Jacked Up. Just it's not great, but I respect what they're like the direction they're going in. I was like, okay, they didn't go in this direction. So what's the point of this? It sounds it sounds okay. The people that love it, good on you for loving it. Just wasn't in love with this one.
Yeah,
Fine.
I understand. Sweat, what do you think of the White Album?
It's solid. I don't really have. I listened. I listened to this exactly enough time so that before the podcast started, and yeah, I just it's good. It's catchy and good.
Phallus, what do you think of the White Album?
Well, the White Album, I think, is just like Everything Will Be Alright in the end, but they decided to make it more Weezer, like, which is not necessarily a good thing by the late 2010s. Like the White Album is basically like the Red Album, but instead of having the big dick energy, it just has Weezer energy. It doesn't mean I think it's like at the same level as the Red Album. It's not better, it's not worse. It's just there, and I think that it just showed that they did Everything Will Be Alright, and they said, well, we need to make another album. I think we should just play it safe. Make a Weezer album that nobody can say is subjectively bad, and that no one can say isn't Weezer. That if you don't know what album it's from and you hear it, you instantly do know this is, as a matter of fact, Weezer, and that's it. That's White. It's not bad, but it's extreme. Like I really do not.
It certainly is a White Album. It certainly is a White Album.
I genuinely do not understand how people can listen to the White Album and say it's Weezer coming back to greatness, and that the White Album shows the same type of talent of the original album. Like I don't know what's wrong with you, but something is.
I'll say. In defense of the character that he kind of the caricature that he portrayed there, who's kind of mean. I think that I agree. It's a very cookie cutter Weezer album, but it's very good at being that. Like it does itself really well.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, I think it's slightly better than Red. Being honest, like now that I rethink it, and I do think that like it's. Everything Will Be Alright is a high 7, while White Album is a low 7. So that's it. It's not Pinkerton 2.
Hell no.
It is not Pinkerton
like,
2.
If I ever met someone who said that the White Album was Pinkerton 2, I would literally just like turn around and walk away. Like, Jesus Christ.
Certainly is not Pinkerton 2.
I'm not.
Now we're getting onto the juicy shit. This is why I'm so tired. We are now finally getting to the trilogy of.
We're getting to the best part.
Trilogy of trash.
To the best part of their discography. Their downfall once again. I would fuck you, man, but you're too far from me. So a year later, after you're releasing the White Album. Only a year later, they would release one of the most surprising downfalls to ever. Like, I don't understand. Pacific Daydream is awful. I just have to say that. Pacific Daydream. I wrote on my ranking that I wish I was the little girl while listening to this album because I wanted to jump out that fucking thing. Just didn't kill
Yeah, I did
myself.
see her.
Jump into space.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Just
I
instantly.
think it's
freeze
honest.
and
Okay, I
suffocate.
gotta say
Kill
that
in the
this
stretch.
album cover is like fantastic.
Oh,
The
it's-
album
it's a
cover is
dope
really
album
good.
cover.
Yeah.
Also, the Japanese writing in the lower right corner like instantly docks at least 4 points because
It-
it's just a
wait,
throwback to how
It
much of
it has
like it
Japanese
instantly
writing.
docks 4 points. Or is it Chinese? I don't know. It has Japanese or Chinese
It
writing
has
on
a.
the lower right. Like
No,
yeah,
I
I'm
don't.
seeing it
I
right
don't
now.
fucking
It's
know.
on
Let me
Spotify.
check.
No, like it instantly docks like 4 points because it just shows how much of a sad fucking man Como is.
Ah, fuck Como. You know, this album has some horrible shit. It has the only good track that is not even good. The better of the worst here is Mexican Fender, and then afterwards, it has a stretch of 4 songs, not even 5 songs, from Beach Boys to QB Blitz. It's fucking atrocious. And any friend of Diane's is a fucking
That's a
terrible closer. I dislike it a lot. I dislike it a fucking lot. Yeah. Literally, this has nothing to offer. This is one of the worst pop albums I've ever listened to.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like Weezer never really just decided to fuck it and go straight pop rock pop shite until 2017. Like that's where they decided like okay, let's just ignore every single album we have ever made and just do like whatever. That specific Daydream.
Yeah, I just dislike it a lot. I really don't like. I think it's bad. It really has nothing to offer, in my opinion. But yeah, Gary, what do you think of Pacific Daydream?
I would rather listen to Imagine Dragon.
Hey, Smoke and Mirrors is a decent album.
I agree that it's terrible. It's just everything to hate in a Weezer album. It like even if like I'll be straight up like the type of electro pop rock kind of Imagine Dragons y type shit that they're going for here. It's something that I seriously dislike. But I know that people do like it and I respect that. But like it's just if you want that, just listen to Imagine Dragons or whatever. Listen to a band that's good at that. I don't understand why anyone wanted Weezer doing that. Like this is just an album that and it comes after something like especially for me. I like the White Album a lot, and it comes directly after that. It's just they drop the ball so hard. This is just almost. It's here. I wrote something in a note. Let me grab that. Pacific Daydream is aggressively average. It's aggressively average. It's aggressively boring, and that in a weird way almost makes it sort of unlistenable. It's overproduced. I just hate it. I think this is and I think it's actually way worse than I actually think I like this less even than Make Believe. All right, I'm done with Pacific Daydream.
Ah, fuck. Soup, what do you think of Pacific Daydream?
So I said Maladroit was that 12th spot out of 13. This one, number 13. This is so aggressively nothing of an album. I didn't want to mention Imagine Dragons, but that's really all the vibe I got from this. It's just there's nothing. Oh, hang on. Yeah.
So yeah, Sweat, what do you think of Pacific Daydream?
I never heard it. I never will.
Good.
Good. Phallus.
I
level of
feels like
attention it
summer,
deserves.
and that is one of the most aggressively boring
Oh god,
songs.
feels like summer is horrible.
Yeah, when my friend saw Weezer live, which he's done many, he said that they played that song and he thought it was a cover, and I would echo that statement.
Yeah.
It feels like a cover song. Which, you know,
Yeah.
considering what they would release 2 years later, yeah, I guess.
I've seen Weezer once, and they thankfully didn't play anything from Pacific. Even though
Well, the
it
album wasn't out yet; it was just a
last year.
single. So
Oh, right, yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
So when it was funny when the single got released and he heard it, he thought it was still a cover. And then the album came out, and it was like this crushing realization.
Like, oh no, this is a Weezer song. This is what
Yeah,
Weezer is.
they
now.
they made oh dear, they made this. Yeah, basically. Yeah, I'm never listening to it. I never will. I got too many other.
Actually, I have something I want to say real quick. I was interrupted by my cat being a dipshit, but the intro is fine. It's not good, but it's serviceable. I was like, oh, okay, this can't be that bad. And in track 2, Beach Boys. No. Okay, I let White Album get away with Endless Bummer. Not here. This is, and then Happy Hour, and Feels Like Summer. Insanity. And pain. That's it.
Phallus, what do you think of Pacific Daydream?
Pacific Daydream.
It's the
I think
best album ever written.
As I said,
So good.
the first ever song I heard from Weezer before I knew what Weezer was Feels Like Summer. How did I come across this track? I have not the fucking slightest idea. I genuinely do not know how I came across it. But I think Pacific Daydream as an album can be summed up by the lyrics of Feels Like Summer. So I'm just gonna read off the first verse, the pre-chorus, and the chorus.
Oh shit!
No, who the fuck?
What the
Okay,
fuck?
no.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so it's climbing up the tower, just a boy and his computer. I'm still in my bathrobe, hiding in the shadows. I'm not used to losing. Bye-bye, sugar blue eyes. You're home with the angels. Thank you for being so kind. I'm holding on and I don't want to let you go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, it feels like summer. Yeah, it feels like summer to me. Yeah, it feels like summer. Yeah, it feels like summer to me. And she was a lover to me, to me, to me, to me. Like, why?
I will read off the second verse.
ever-loving
It fucking
fuck.
sucks.
You
Why
start getting a rap flow there towards the end of there. You're going.
Why?
You're going off there.
Like, why the ever-loving fuck would a power pop, alternative rock, maybe pop rock band decide to ever do electro pop or anything related to it? Feels Like
Because
Summer
they're all
is the least
45 years
Weezer
old.
song to ever exist. And I've skimmed through this album. I've not heard it front to back properly, but I've heard a decent amount of shit of this album. And I do remember it being so shit that my brain literally wiped it clean. I only remember Feels Like Summer because I heard that track like a dozen times because it was the first Weezer track I knew, and like it just popped up on my shuffling on my playlists and stuff. Like it should not exist. And it was truly like at many points in their career, Weezer just like went up and down and up and down and up and down from the very beginning since shit like Make Believe. But the thing is, they never really just went balls to the wall. Shite.
Balls
Pacific
to the
Daydream.
wall.
But the thing is, it's so stupid because from what we know, in 2022, Weezer will release a Brown album, which sounds a lot like original Weezer, and fans say it's like the White Album, and it's just, no.
the Proud
no.
album.
It's not, just stop. Stop doing, it's a formula.
I hope it's like the Brown album, and then the center is just a poop emoji over a white background.
Yeah, the Brown
I
album
swear,
really
like,
harkens back
they
to
need to
Weezer's.
stop. They need to stop having to make albums that sound like Weezer, albums that don't, albums that are like Weezer, albums that don't. Because right now we are nearing the end of the albums that don't with Van Weezer. and I can assure you that they will try to revive it on the later to come years. And each time they go down, they drop harder. Like they go down and drop harder, and they don't get up as good. If I'm making any sense, like it's just they're fluctuating up and down, but it's overall a curve, just stooping slowly downward.
Make a chart. You should make a graph.
I'll make a graph. I'll
If you have Excel, you can make a graph.
I'm gonna
How
graph.
Weezer is every
I'm gonna
Weezer.
graph the shite factor on Weezer albums. I think that's a good hobby. That's a good thing to spend my quarantine time. But yeah, do not listen to Pacific Daydream. Like, if you want to listen to an ironic, funny album, listen to like Gratitude.
I'd imagine this album is just like really boring. I haven't heard it.
Yeah.
I just like aggressively, like
It's-
not bad. Like feels like
No,
Summer
no,
Again.
no,
I've
no.
heard that track. It's
Okay.
not like it's bad, but it's not bad in a way.
Yeah,
it's not like horrendous. It's just like aggressively boring.
yeah, like if we're talking disgustingly horrendous, then that comes on later. But like it's just really bad. Like just no, please don't. No need. There was no need. It pisses me off. I swear to God. How can the same group that made Pinkerton do this? How? I do not comprehend.
It's amazing. I'm actually amazed by the fact that the band released this. Like, had the balls to release this to the public after releasing the White Album. It honestly baffles me. The transition between the White Album and then all of a sudden Pacific Daydream is just amazing. It's just, I just have to get on my knees and suck their dick because this is just fucking incredible. I adore this album for how bad it is. So after that, 2 years later, in 2019, they would release 2 albums. Last year, the first of both being the Teal album, that is just a shitty covers album, offers nothing more than the original songs, fucking disrespected by this fucking band. The only track that I can say I kind of like here is the Happy Together, but it's not even close. It's light years behind the original song. All the songs here are just atrocious. The Africa cover is soulless. The Sweet Dreams Are Made of These is just fucking stupid.
Also on original, like
Yeah,
1,000 bands have covered Sweet Dreams Are Made
the
of
paranoid cover is overproduced bullshit. It's
What?
they try to sound like Ozzy Osbourne on the lyrics, but it sounds atrocious. It sounds fucking horrible. The fucking No Scrubs and Billie Jean and the Stand By Me covers are awful. This just offers nothing. This is basically how do you do, fellow kids? We'll listen to Toto on the memes. You like Toto, don't you? Ha 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 ha. I just fucking
See, here's the thing, and I don't want to rush it. I'm sorry I just have to get this out. It fucking worked. This is the most popular Weezer has been since their peak in the 90s.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Here's what it is. Here's what it is.
This fucking Africa single broke them. Like, legitimately, there are people, younger people, talking about the Africa cover and like some songs off a Black album. It's insane. It's
Yeah, like,
surreal.
Africa has nearly 50 million plays on Spotify. Like that's a legitimately like large amount of
I
streams
kind of respect it
for
for
a
how it
shitty cover.
What it is.
Also, it's not a shitty cover. I really like the Africa.
It is a shit cover. It is.
It's good. It's the best song on the record by far. I really like it.
Look, no.
It's just not.
Both of the Toto covers are actually quite good.
The Roxanne is better than fucking.
I don't know. Toto is not that great of a band to begin with, so what can we just?
Their singles group, but their singles are great, and the Weezer
Yeah,
cover as well.
They've made some individual really good tracks, but there's not a single like, wow, this is an actual good Toto album that is well built and offers substance.
It offers
Got it.
substance.
Sometimes your singles
I mean,
bad.
substance has a lot of meaning, man. Substance like a fucking old man
Okay.
about to die. Substance, yeah, maybe, but substance like
No, like in the sense that there's not a single Toto album out there that is not like at least 40% filled.
basically.
It's the problem with Teal for me is that it's the most bullshit, like nothing way of making covers. Like when people cover songs, and I don't know, this is just
That's
like
true.
something that I get annoyed with.
They don't add anything.
Yeah,
exactly.
I want
If you're
something
covering a song,
different.
do it in
Yeah.
your style. Why are you like? Why would I listen to the Weezer version of fucking Paranoid over Black Sabbath? Like, what reason do I have to do that? Why do I want to hear Weezer trying to sound like Black Sabbath?
I get one thing I want to point out is that the fact that there is a No Scrubs cover on here is kind of that's the one moment of like, haha, we're Weezer that I can kind of get.
That is very Weezer. It's very much
like
sense of humor.
I enjoy that in Africa, and the rest of the record is boring.
The thing about the album for me, if it's like there's this very big 80s nostalgia thing that's happening right now, especially in the last 5 years, especially with like Stranger Things and all. And this is just kind of a cash grab upon that whole wave of 80s nostalgia, because like, oh look, Weezer Africa, I mean, it's fun, yeah, but it's just kind of,
I respect it in a way because they succeeded. Like if they didn't succeed, it would just be.
That's true.
Like their success after this is impressive. Like objectively, in my opinion, like as a band this late to be succeeding, like to get on the singles chart with a sound that is completely dated. Even if it sucks, I'm like, yeah, this album is shit, but it's impressive that it actually broke them again.
It's a blatant cash grab, but it's a blatant cash grab that was successful.
Yeah,
you gotta give him that.
Basically.
Well, look, I have not heard the Teal album like front to back. I've heard just Africa and Roxanne, and neither of those songs, like when you, as Cringe said, you are covering something, it better have something new.
Yeah.
It better you gotta bring something to the table. For example, when Marilyn Manson legendarily covered "Sweet Dreams Are Made of This," he did change the song a fucking lot. The vibes are completely different. That's the reason why it's so legendary in a way. Like, but I now remember that I heard like 45 seconds off of the Weezer cover, and it's just Weezer trying to create and perform "Sweet Dreams Are Made of This" by Eurythmics. Like, if they told me it's power pop covers off of non-power pop songs, and it's Weezer style songs, like trying to actively twist them into the power pop like genre, then I could be interested. I could say, hey, maybe they could make it new, perhaps.
Here's the thing, but like this,
they don't.
When are cover albums like what are some classic cover albums? I don't really.
None. That's why I don't bother with cover
The
albums.
one that I can think of off the top of my head, and people hate it still, but it's like it does something. I don't know many cover albums, but like it's the Perfect Circle cover album. I don't know if anyone's heard that. It's okay, but like
I generally don't bother with cover albums. I do bother with like covers, individual covers, because I know that they can be original, but not entire cover albums.
I think it's a fair thing, but like I can't think of a single time when it has a cash grab.
Yeah.
One of my favorite bands, Yola Tango, has a covers album. It's like it's. I think it's like.
I'd like to hear it. Like I'd like to hear a cover album that's like legitimately great.
It's good. It's called Fake Book. They're covering like older, I think a lot of 60s and 70s songs, and
That's cool.
They're doing it like just acoustic with very stripped back arrangement. But yeah, that's a needle in the hay. There isn't, or a diamond in the rough, I guess, is a more valid analogy. It's good covers albums are hard to come.
Yeah. The only cover album like I've really enjoyed was Nick Cave and Bad Seeds, Kicking Against the Pricks. That was again, it's not a major release for them. I mean, even that year they would release Year Freedom with My Trial, which is infinitely better. But there's some really cool covers on that one. Oh yeah, this is about Weezer. Fuck.
It is about Weezer. Can we move on? I don't really think there's anything to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's just nothing of an album, basically. But they did get the spotlight.
There's nothing.
They did get the spotlight.
And they maintained it.
Yeah.
I watched one of their 2019 concerts. They're soulless as fuck. Like they don't have any kind of spirit and any kind of will to keep playing. I watched a concert on Brazil. It's just fucking wow.
I still would see them because a lot of my friends really would just be a time to hang out, I guess. Concerts are fun. It depends. I think they're really expensive.
Like if they told me that Weezer was coming to my city, and like they were, I would immediately look up the track listing, and if it's just songs of like the Black Album and Pacific Daydream,
It's not. They just play hits.
I will
It's
literally.
great.
It's greatest hits live. Which is
So they're not gonna. So live, they would not touch a single fucking track of the Black Album, or would they?
They would.
They would, but like one or two. They also do one. They don't play anything from Pinkerton, which is another thing.
They
But,
played,
like,
they,
they
played, they played El Scorcho when I saw them last year.
Yeah, they play like one song maybe off of
They play
Pinkerton.
one
It's
song.
either like Pink Triangle or El Scorcho. But yeah, like they still have like enough. Like they're the greatest hits from like most of their albums are good. Like I don't know. I'd still see them. Personally.
I wouldn't. I mean, for
If I had any money.
Plus, look, every single band that like was relevant back then and really isn't now, or is barely becoming relevant again, their concerts are like $800 a ticket. Like, look at Rage. Look at Rage Against the Machine. Like, oh, they're coming back to play concerts. Oh, I'm gonna pay $3,000 to go and Rage Against the Machine is like a corporation. Like, you need to be literally brain dead to miss the message that much.
I'd still see Rage Against the Machine.
I would go to see Rage Against the Machine. I mean, they're one of my favorite bands.
Yeah, if they toured consistently, I'd definitely.
They're incredible, but I'm not paying $3,000 just.
Oh no, not 3K. I mean, I wouldn't even pay 20 cents for a fucking razor blade. But it's just yeah. I mean, after this, they would release the Black Album, and I think we all can agree that the Black Album is almost as atrocious as Pacific Daydream. It really doesn't have anything to offer. Piece of Cake.
It has High as a Kite.
Caliph.
Can we all agree that's a good song?
No.
Oh, okay.
High as a Kite and Zombie Bastards are just awful tracks.
Zombie Bastards is a crime against humanity.
Zombie Bastards is the first look. I listened to the Black Album when it dropped. I did not listen to any of the singles, and I remember that I heard Can Knock the Hustle, and I was like, this is a little bit better than Pacific. Can Knock the Hustle, yeah. Like when he swore, like I cringed and a lot, but I was like, okay, it's respectable. And then the chorus for Zombie Bastards hit. My soul felt my body left my body way worse than on Gratitude. Like,
I mean, the cover just portrays what I feel listening to this. Is just
yeah. Plus, what the hell is the cover? Is it like gimp fetish porn? I really don't get it.
I think they're covered in tar or something. I don't.
No, I'm pretty sure it's like the latex can't breathe.
Yeah, it's fucking awful. I dislike The Closer. California Snow is just awful.
Oh my god, The Closer. He does a trap.
Terrible.
It's disgusting.
It's so hilarious.
The Prince Who Wanted Everything is just stupid. Too many thoughts on my head. It's I don't know. This record is just awful. Gary, what do you think of the Black Album?
I don't know if I hate this or Pacific Daydream more. They're both awful. Zombie Bastards is genuinely like I don't have that many things in my .5s. Let me look real quick. I know Zombie Bastards. I have Zombie Bastards and End of the Game by Weezer, and I have a couple more singles in there. I think Zombie Bastards though is the worst. Like if I were to make a list of the worst songs I've ever heard, I just despise that song. It's so annoying.
I think it's the chorus that makes it so annoying.
Yeah.
You die, you zombie bastards.
What is this
What
what is this lyric about? He's listening to Queen and what is he playing fucking Minecraft? I don't understand what's happening. It's
because he's
really
hip.
it's really confusing. Yeah.
It's terrible.
Can't believe the dude got a wife. That's just
Yeah, word.
You know
I can't
that
believe
his wife is
hasn't
with
left
him just because of that Blue Album money. Like, I don't think Rivers Cuomo is a genuinely likable human being. Being completely frank.
recently he's been really cocky, more than usual. But yeah, I mean, besides, his wife is Asian, so I mean, we can all just say, really, just say nothing at all. But yeah.
Can we talk about End of the Game a little bit?
Wait.
Wait.
You
I haven't properly addressed my hate for the Black Album.
I'm sorry.
Soup.
I thought we were,
Soup, what do you think of the Black Album?
He is muted.
Soup is dead. Sweat, what do you think
Well,
of the Black Album?
Okay.
Oh yeah, Soup, go ahead.
Cat was being a dickhead again. Okay. Hang on, let me bring up the chocolate. This one, not very good. It's just, oh God, where is this? Okay, there you go. Yeah, this is third lowest, and I'll just read off the ranking right here, just in full. Number 1, Blue Album. Number 2, Everything Will Be Alright in the End. 3, Pinkerton. Number 4, Gratitude. Oh yeah, I moved some stuff around. So 5 is Red Album. 6 is Make Believe. 7 is Hurley. 8 is Green Album. 9 is White Album. 10 is Teal. Black, Maladroit, Pacific Daydream. So yeah, this is, I had enough time to listen to this. I instead didn't use that time.
Nice.
I listened to the first half of it. I skimmed through the rest, see if there was anything interesting.
There isn't.
There was not.
There was not.
It's just, and again, that like it just feels like they're like trying to be. Okay, it just feels like they're trying to be friggin' Imagine Dragons, or like, yeah, it's like that niche. It's not gonna happen. Like, these are clearly trying to be radio hits, but these aren't gonna get on the radio. Fuckers are like 50 years old.
I think Can't Knock the Hustle was a small some fucking hell.
Maybe. Let me check. Yeah, that's all I have to say for it. Just
Sweat,
bad.
Sweat, what do you think of
again, it's bad and like the really aggressively boring way. Okay.
No,
sorry.
don't worry. It's just boring as fuck.
This was the worst. This is the worst thing that I've heard. Band. I haven't heard Pacific Daydream or Make Believe in Full, and those could very likely be worse than it. I'd probably not though. I don't know. This was the first Weezer album I had experience being a fan when it was actually coming out. And like Can't Knock the Hustle and High as a Kite, 2 pretty good songs. You got 2 redeemable songs. The rest fucking suck. Oh my god. This is the epitome of fucking suck. I just can't emphasize how much sucking, fucking, and suck fuck this has consistently throughout the track list. Living in LA, this is a piece of cake. I don't know what to say. I just at the end of this 2 hours of talking about this god awful band, and it's just a cherry on top. This fucking terrible record. You got the thing is, this doesn't even have the funny part like Gratitude or Redwood. Like the only section that got like some sort of enjoyment out of me for being bad was like California Snow, because it has the fucking like trap verse.
Oh fuck.
It's just like you close your album with this. It's just goddamn. I hate it so much, but it's hilarious. I wish the rest of the album would. I wish they tried to made rap music. That would have made this so much better. Like
Weezer,
Can't Knock the Hustle is like I legitimately do think I enjoy that.
Yeah, like Can't Knock the Hustle is.
If the rest of the record operated in a similar vein to that, maybe it could have been redeemable. I don't know. I dislike this album very much so. I don't think it's terrible per se. I just think it's the worst, and I likely will never hear an album like a new album they release. I'm just done. What's the fucking point? What's the point of going on this roller coaster ride if it's gonna go down? Like, I don't, it's not. I'm just gonna listen to better music.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Phallus, what do you think of the Black Album?
I heard of the Black Album the day it dropped, as they said. I stand by the fact that the Black Album is the worst Weezer release to date, without any fucking doubt. First of all, Rivers Cuomo should not have the right. I believe that every single human being has inalienable rights. Rivers Cuomo does not have the right to use swear words in general. Like, he cannot.
No, I think that's really funny. I think he should use swear words more.
No.
That would have made it entertaining.
They need to wash his potty mouth with soap every single time he uses a swear word. Because listening to the Black Album and listening to him say, "I'm an ugly motherfucker," which is right. He's hideous. And listen to him say, fucking, what was it? Don't step to me, bitch. On the first track. Jesus Christ. Listening to the chorus on Zombie Bastards, to the blandness of most of the album. Once again, to the swearing on Byzantine or Byzantine. I'm not a native English speaker. Fuck that shit. And the trap verse on California Snow. No, man. It's the most offensive Weezer record to date. There's no doubt. I do not understand how, why, or what comes next. If they manage to outdo themselves with Van Weezer and make a worse album than the Black Album, I will be amazed. I will thoroughly be amazed, because this is just... Jeez, it's a war crime. It breaks like 17 Geneva Conventions. I swear to God. I cannot stand a single track on the album. I used to be able to stand to Can't Knock the Hustle, but the Hasta Luego Adios, which is the post-chorus, and the Don't Step to Me, Bitch. Those two parts individually not dock like 1.3 points off. So if it was originally a 6 out of 10 song, it becomes a 3, just because of those two factors. I can't. Words don't while I said don't listen to Pacific Daydream, please do listen to the Black Album. You need to listen to it to thoroughly understand how honestly just disgusting it is. Jesus. Fuck Weezer. I fucking hate Weezer, man. I can't. I swear, I'm gonna cry.
Jesus.
God damn. That was some powerful wording. I want to say another thing is that I feel like the main inspiration for this record, besides Imagine Dragon, I feel like Rivers was probably a big fan of modern Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Probably.
Oh my god.
Like their newest album, this gives me a lot of modern Red Hot Chili Peppers vibes here. You know, they love California. Goddamn, they sure do love California. Saying how much they just love partying. They're just real go-getters, I swear.
I mean, Californication is it's a solid
like
album.
yeah, I'm talking about like the
Yeah, the
most
recent
recent
ones.
Red Hot Chili. Yeah,
I
don't know if anybody.
Yeah, I
Tracks
get.
of Stadium Arcadium.
No, not even not Stadium Arcadium. Their last two albums, particularly.
I forget even the fucking title of the most.
The
it's got,
Getaway,
like,
yeah, the
animals on
Getaway,
it.
and I'm with you.
Getaway,
Yeah,
and
Stadium
I'm with you.
Arcadium is
Yeah.
good. Stadium Arcadium is good, but I'm with you and the Getaway are just But yeah,
I just get a lot of that type of energy. It's far worse than that though, because those albums at worst were boring. Black Album is just hideous.
I mean the end of the okay. Now we're gonna talk about it. The End of the Game was the last single they released for their upcoming album Van Weezer, and it's not good. It's not good. For me. It was one of the worst songs of the year. I really don't like it. I really hope it's.
End of the
I
game.
just checked.
I want to say that the cover art for Van Weezer, the lightning background, is a stock image,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah,
It's a
I
fucking
just-
stock image.
Graphic
I just
design.
checked on I just checked on RYM, and the End of the Game as a single has a 3.06.
It's
average.
fucking radio music. What the fuck did you expect? Yeah.
I know that radio music is home to degeneracy, but like, how is it not under?
I don't know.
How is it not under?
I don't know. This stretch of albums like Weezer collaborating with not even collaborate, but touring with Green Day and Fall Out Boy, it was just a bad sign from the start. Bad.
Oh my god, it's insane! They all released their worst material. I can't even. It's a spectacle. It's. I love it. I love how these free bands who are in very similar situations to each other
Yeah.
at complete low points of their career teamed up. It's like a superhero movie. They teamed up to make the worst records they possibly could,
I'm curious.
and they
for-
succeeded. Damn it!
You see,
They
I'm really curious because I want to see what comes next for Fallout Boy.
I don't.
Oh
I
yeah, they have to be the worst
Yeah.
one. It's just gone down.
You- no, no,
Black
no, 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 no.
Album, Green Day.
You
They
see-
have to make something so bad.
You see, that's the issue. I am an unapologetic fan of recent-ish, like Fallout Boy.
Look,
look,
look.
Mania
I have
Mania has like a 1.1 average.
I have nostalgia. I have nostalgia for I have nostalgia for Fall Out Boy.
Well, even it's like okay, you know, maybe they shouldn't have chose Fall Out Boy. Maybe they should have toured Green Day, Weezer, and Blink 182. That would have been better.
That would have been like wee like solid hard, but like what like I generally don't understand why people hate on recent Fall Out Boy that much. Like it's of course it's not.
It's awful. It's awful.
It's not that bad.
I
Come
haven't
on.
even heard any Fall Out Boy album. It's just like I've heard
Listen-
singles from each respective era, and it's just obvious that they're like at a low point.
Maybe
I
it's
don't-
not that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, like
I understand.
respectably. You
Like
know.
I really like the opener, but oops. I understand that it like 1.41 average. That's pretty fucking low. Like
Because
I
it
get
deserves it, man. So yeah, I mean, after that, Weezer, we don't know if it's gonna keep going downhill. I sure hope.
God,
I hope
it
they
does.
do. I hope they
it
do.
does.
Yeah.
I hope at this point, I just want Van Weezer to be like a spectacularly, like I'm just kind of.
He has to follow up
Right.
Father of All.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
God, I don't know. Like, damn,
I-
like natural disasters, they can't compare to whatever fucking Van Weezer's gonna be.
Ever Van Weezer.
Dude,
Massive
I'm telling ya.
virus sweeping the globe. Who cares? Van Weezer's coming in.
On May.
Van Weezer is like,
We'll-
dude, I'm stealing this line, but Van Weezer is like if the genocide happens every 4 years, like the Olympics. It's basically that. I can imagine it's gonna be exactly like that. So I'm really hyped. I wanna gather another 0.5 for my RYM.
Me
curve.
too. Man,
Yeah.
I wanna see. We'll see on May.
I'm not gonna listen to it. I just want to see the reaction.
on
I'm gonna listen to like.
Nah, people
So,
like ARTV are gonna be like, no guys, this is good record, and the music breakdown that shitty channel is gonna be like, yeah guys, I don't even know if Louis even listens to fucking Weezer at all, but yeah.
Lilacs Music is gonna read the Wikipedia page for Van Weezer. and that'd be
He
great.
is
Read it out loud.
He's gonna go to reception, and he's gonna scroll down. He's gonna say, "All right, time to write my script. Highlight this part of the."
He's gonna crack his knuckles, open up RYM, copy the top 3 most voted reviews, and just like paraphrase.
I mean, yeah, at least Lilacs Music has personality a bit. I mean, he has a voice of his own.
Weezer doesn't.
Winner.
But yeah, so yeah, I mean, we're gonna see where this goes. There has been music buddies. We covered. It's a nice, decent runtime actually, almost 3 hours. So this was
I'd like,
Oh, go ahead.
I'd like to say before we end, I know we all chat on Weezer a lot, like especially their recent material. I actually still genuinely love for their like because they made one of my favorite albums and the material they made in the past I love so much. I don't know. I still like Weezer. I'm a Weezer
It's
fan.
understandable. It's understandable.
No,
Um,
man. Like, I do consider Pinkerton to be a straight up masterpiece, and they have several great albums.
I don't think there's any point where I consider myself a Weezer fan.
Yeah, I would rather
Yeah.
I would rather cap myself in the
Yeah.
head than say that I'm a Weezer fan.
I've heard most of
if
the
I had the
records, so I probably am a Weezer fan by default. But I don't want to consider
I
myself.
am not
a
a
Weezer.
Weezer.
If I had the opportunity, I would kneecap like Rivers Cuomo. I would just bust.
I've heard all fucking Avril Lavigne albums. That doesn't make me an Avril Lavigne fan, you know. And it's just it's just a fucking
Yeah.
uh.
Okay, I will say though, so yeah, I binged and let me actually pull this up. It was like 7 or 8 albums. I hated these albums a lot less than I was imagining. Like, hang on,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 albums that I even have at a 3. The rest are just kind of in the middle of the road, or like a lot of these I have at a 6. It's just
I think that the thing is
I don't
that
know if my taste,
you can-
if my brain is rotting, or it's just
It just might be.
I don't think Weezer have
It
like
could be,
really,
yeah.
until recently. I don't think they really made anything abysmal. Like,
Yeah,
Until I'm assuming Pacific Daydream. I can't.
Okay, so
Or Teal and Blue.
I have to say, I have to say
that
that for me to consider one album as one of the worst albums ever made, it has to gather some special.
I don't think
No,
they
no, no, no,
made
no,
anything
but
that bad.
but for me to put an album like a low score, it really has some needs to have some characteristics to it. There are some awful albums that I adore that I thank you guys for introducing me to, like Demo Tape 1 by Edge of the World.
Oh,
It's
that's
just
I know the creator of that thing.
amazing.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've talked to him.
They supposedly released an album last year that I don't know if anyone has fucking listened to.
They're classic.
Yeah, I think he did.
I mean, I adore that Demo Tape 1 because it has one of my favorite worst songs ever, What Even, and Electrocute. It's just fucking bad or
Yeah, I think we should
The
probably
op-
wrap up.
the
The
op-
But yeah,
Weezer-
I mean,
Weezer
I have to
Yeah.
say that Weezer does not end on the not my favorite band, but not a bad band either. It's just wasted potential all along. So yeah, I mean, this has been Music Buddies. Gary here, Soup, Sweat and Phallus.
Reverse Cuomo needs to be executed.
And yeah, this is
At this point, I wouldn't.
this is your host, the Idiot Who Likes Prog. Next week we're gonna cover The Cure. The Cure are gonna be a good one. The Kid are gonna be a good one. So yeah, I mean, this has been Music Buddies, and sorry for the 5 fucking podcasts uploaded in one day. So thank you and goodbye.